This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Many, Mickey, Fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out and go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
I like him. Who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
All right, welcome once again to the Voice Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich, alongside, as always, King of Banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, what's happening?
That's a hearty introduction. You're excited this week.
I think so. I don't know. It's early, I guess. I'm trying to. It's not a. I miss our good old days of recording at 2 p.m. and stuff, but it's all right.
Yeah, you're back to going to the office.
Punching the clock. I was punching the clock at home, still doing the work at home, and now the commute's killer. That's the part that really, like, the work itself is whatever. That's fine. I don't mind the work, but goddamn, driving an hour every single day back and forth is tough.
Let's just quit.
I need everybody listening to tell their friends to subscribe to the $10 tier, and then yes, I will do that. So that's it, all it is. And then, like we've said, we'll do audio up the ass. You just need everybody listening live. And even not listening live. Everybody that's listening live, you're all $10 subscribers. Thank you for doing that. You want now all your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers, your family, all of them to subscribe for the $10 tier. And then everybody, all the freeloaders listening on the podcast feed, you guys all get to the $10 subscriber numbers. And then yes, I'll be good, and then we can start doing these at 2 p.m. again. So
Money's a social construct, man. You don't need it.
No, I do though. Tell that to the mortgage company. I don't think the mortgage company would agree if I said, "Hi, Central Loan Administration or whatever. I believe currency is a social construct. So thank you." And then maybe I could try it. I haven't tried it yet, so I guess I can't say it won't work. But
look, there's no rules anymore. Just stop sending them money. See what happens.
Okay, yeah, I'll try it.
Right?
See how that goes.
Probably not well.
You have an extra room. You have an extra room in College Station in case it doesn't go well.
I mean, I don't have a room. I got a bunch of couches you could have.
Are they nice couches? Like what's the quality of couches we're talking here?
You think Joe Lanza would have shitty couches? You think I'm a shitty couch guy?
Okay. I don't think you're a shitty couch guy. I think you have a good couch. I would say I don't know the layout of your house. I've never been to your house. I know you have the den. I imagine there's a good couch in the den, right?
So comfortable.
Do you have an official basement?
No basements in this part
That's
of Texas.
what I was going to say. Okay, so Texas, yeah, no basements. Okay, because that'd be another place to have a good couch. So the den couch, I'm positive is a nice couch. You have, I'm assuming, like a living room, family room type thing as well, right?
Yeah.
First walk into place, that's a nice couch, right?
Listen, I'm not...
But how many other couches? What, like, you said you have several couches. I assume that you have 2 nice couches. Is that enough?
I'm not a bad couch guy.
Okay.
I don't know why you think I'd be a bad couch guy. I got a couch. I got more than 2 couches. Yeah, I got a couch.
But why are all the couches good, though? You only need... How many couches do you need to be good? How many other rooms are you sitting in?
If you're going to have a couch, it may as well be a good couch. Why do you want to have a shitty couch?
It's not. You're not wrong, but if you never sit in it, who cares, you know?
Who says the couches aren't getting sat in?
Well, I'm just wondering how many rooms you're sitting in.
Any room I'm in, I'm sitting. I mean,
You're not a stand. Yeah, you're not a...
This is confusing. Of course I'm sitting.
But how many other rooms do you occupy? Like I know that you bounce around between, you know, different areas to record the show, but like how many, like, because everyone's got like their rooms that because you used to say that there was many rooms in your house that like were never opened. The door was basically shut and never opened ever. Like, how many actual rooms would you say live in the house?
When I was single, there were rooms in the house that legitimately I probably didn't enter for years.
Could have been like a dead body in those without ever knowing.
Yeah, like for years, the doors to these rooms were never opened. Like, you know, But now every room in the house gets used.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's multiple couches. There's there's a big couch in the den. There's a couch in the living room. There's a couch in the bedroom. There's a
bedroom
couch.
Huh?
I got a bedroom couch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the need for a bedroom couch? I'm just curious.
I sit in that all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Bedroom. It's a nice relaxing space. The bedroom.
Okay.
I think it's important to have a bedroom couch. Sometimes I'll come in the bedroom and I'll sit on the bedroom couch.
And then you go on.
And then
Go on. Just go.
Rich almost went third hour there. I'm about to. You can't do this to me because now I badly want. I am biting my tongue so hard it's going to bleed because I want to go third hour now because you set that one up. But no, I've got a bedroom couch. I sit on the bedroom couch. Have I fucked on the bedroom couch? Of course
I would say for sure you've fucked on the bedroom couch. How many couches in the house have you fucked on?
Oh, God, I fucked on all the couches.
Every single one.
Every couch in the
house.
That's
why, I'll be honest, that's a big reason why I don't want to come to your house and sleep on your couches.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everyone has fucked on their couch. You fucked on your couch. Come on.
One of them. I have some bad couches. Yeah. I'm a bad couch guy.
You're a bad couch guy?
I'm not a great couch guy. I'm a good couch guy in the couch that I sit in, and then otherwise I'm a bad couch guy.
Like, if you go to someone's house and you crash at someone's house and you sleep on their couch, you just have to assume that they've fucked where you're sleeping. Right? I mean, everyone fucks on the couch at some point.
Yeah,
Silence.
yeah. No, you're right. I'm just thinking in my head, like, the cleaning of it, if I would be confident in that, or, I'd be, whatever. Who cares at this point? You're right. You're going in, there's a fucking has happened on this couch at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's something you have to accept. It's like, it's no, like you sleep in a hotel, you have to accept the bed has been fucked on many times.
Oh yeah,
like,
of course.
It's the same thing. Like, I think if you sleep on someone's couch, you don't like to think about it. Like, I don't like go over my brother's house and crash on the couch and think about him boning my sister-in-law. Like, right. I'm not thinking about that, but it's obvious that they have done that. So, look, if you come here, there's many couches to choose from. All have been fucked on many times.
Well, the clarity and the transparency is appreciated for sure.
Always transparency. I have fucked in every room in the house. I mean, that's got to be a given too. I've been here 11 years. Garage, backyard.
Ooh, the garage. Interesting. How'd that one go? Was that?
A quickie.
Yeah.
Gotta be a quickie.
That's There's no real need to fuck in the garage, but if there's a need to fuck, the garage is fine for that.
It's just a hot, like the moment strikes and you just
right.
It's one of those, you know what's up. The moment strikes and you bang a quick one out, like getting out of the car or whatever. But
my garage is a mess. That'd be terrible. Yeah, I have never fucked in the garage. I'll be honest. Even if the moment struck, I would be like, let's just please get out of the garage.
You got stinky garbage in there. You got
there's like oil stains and shit.
Yeah.
I got
Listen, it's not a hot scene. I'm
not weed killer all over the place. It's like
I'm not saying it's a hot scene. I'm just saying it's been done. So yeah, every room, the backyard, the garage, the staircase got broken in. Yeah, everywhere but again, you go in someone's house, you have to assume they fucked everywhere. I mean, it's kind of like, it's not something you consciously think about. You don't want to think about people boning like on their kitchen counter, but it's happening.
Right. Do you ever when you go to the hotel, do you ever have a thought, but not when you walk in, but in the midst of it, you're just kind of like, man, there's been a lot of people like the last people before us probably did the same thing, and I can't imagine the cleaning has been sufficient enough to make up for what's occurred in this bed over the last week or 2 or 3 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Every time I go in a hotel room, I think so much sex has happened in this room.
Yeah, I need to get like in the early 2000s, they would always have those like these weird investigative shows. I forget who was even doing these shows at the time, and they'd always bring out the black light and be like, "My God, look how much like human waste is on this bed at your hotel." Yeah. And I'm always like, "Oh God!" I do wonder about doing that, and I think it's probably better that I don't think about it and just go for it.
Yeah, but I mean, we used to do the bit with the with the fuck chair.
Yeah,
remember the
right.
fuck chair bit?
Yeah, people still send us pictures of fuck chairs, which is
Yes.
is an incredible legacy. Like if we were lame enough to like make T-shirts and stuff, like fuck chair would definitely be one of them. For sure.
Fuck chair would have to be one.
And we're gonna at some point we will be lame enough to do that because I want to quit my job and and do these things at 2 p.m. And fuck chair will undoubtedly be a one that even if we sell 80 of them, it'll be those 80 old timers, old school VOW fans that would get it. But yeah, I do enjoy getting random pictures of fuck chairs every so often. So
people don't just add us with pictures of the fuck chair when they check into the hotel. There's some listeners who just post pictures of the fuck chair with no comments.
That's what I was
going to
say. The best thing is we never get, hey, Joe and Rich, here's a chair in the corner of my hotel. It's just a picture of a chair. And everybody knows, everybody listening knows, we know that's the part that I love the most is that it doesn't need to get hit over the head. It's not, hey, look at this picture of this fuck chair. It's just like, here's a picture of a chair in a corner of a hotel room, and that's it. The photo, that speaks 1,000 words right there. You don't need to say anything. It's perfect.
You were listening to this show in 2014, and I salute you. If you just post a picture of a fuck chair on your Twitter feed, I respect it. But yeah, third hour comes to first hour.
I was going to say, let's just reverse show. Hey, Joe, Pro Wrestling Noah had their 20th anniversary.
We should be doing Dragon Gate.
This week.
Or,
King of Gate. That was a while ago. But Rainbow Gate's coming up this week, so we'll talk about that.
Well, we still don't have any sponsors to offend.
No.
So,
yeah.
you just don't want to put the third hour content around the ads just in case, because we got to give them timestamps. And then some, and then, Dopey Bill from whatever random company goes and listens to the ad. And we don't want him to get, fuck chair talk, before or after his ad. And then, because it might annoy him. So you try to backload it in the third hour. But there's no ads. Again, there's no more rules in society anymore, Rich. There's no laws, there's no rules, there's no podcast ads. So, we just come out here and we can do what we want. It's anarchy. It's anarchy rules with a Z. That's an old ECW.
Yeah, no E, only Z. Yeah.
Anarchy rules. And, one day I'll get to those on Jovember to Remember, sometime in like 2026.
Yeah, the first one's 1999, right? That's going to be quite a while for you to get there. But
hey, good plug though. I have a update on the next Jovember to Remember on the Dark Patriot 2 deal. Rich, it's a good update, isn't it? Obviously, you're not going to.
It's great. Yeah, I knew. You were heartbroken when this person didn't respond to you the first time that you reached out to them. I could tell. I could sense it. Like, even though you didn't say it, I could sense that it just it was a hung DM that nobody ever responded to, and I just knew it was crushing you inside because Joe, like when you send messages to like normal people, it's just kind of like, hey, boom, here it is. Like this one, you're like, hello, sir, my name is Joe Lanza. Like just formal, like with the business card in hand, like hello, sir, big fan, and then like just met with nothing, and you really opened yourself out there, and then were given nothing back, and I knew it was just killing you. So I was glad that you got a response back with the signature of the initials of the man who responded to you too, which is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, he left me on read. That's what they say on the streets, Rich. That's what he left me on read. But I got official confirmation on the Dark Patriot 2 hypothesis, and on the next episode of Jovember, which will be sooner than people think. When we go over, I think it's Hardcore Episode TV 12. I think I'm up to. I don't know. We'll have a follow-up on the Dark Patriot 2 theory that we talked about in the last episode, that it is, in fact, Bill DeMott. So we will confirm whether that is true or not. It is not Bill DeMott that got back to us, Rich.
No.
Bill DeMott is still protecting
K5 and K5 in you. Dude.
On a 27-year-old angle. So, what can you do?
I kind of admire that, though, in a way. Like, he's a fucking turd, but I also admire it in a way.
He was kind of nodding. He was kind of answering without answering. No, I mean, but he just doesn't want to officially. I don't know. He's just a geek.
Workers are workers, man. It's the best part. Like, I had a buddy who he did a show with. My buddy's a wrestler, and he did a show with Demolition. like 3 or 4 years ago or something like that. And so Demolition's there or whatever. They're like going over the booking plan and the match they're going to have. And he's not facing Demolition, thank God. But so they're talking about it, and the Demolition guys go, whoa, because like the other team is like, okay, then you can go off the road. They're trying to like put their match together type thing. And I think it was Edie or whatever was like, whoa, and the guys are like, yeah, what? They're like, we're not bumping for you guys. Like, we're not doing anything for you guys. And they're like, well, are you still going to lose to us? And they're like, oh, no. They agreed to lose to come into the show, and then said they're not going to lose. And it's just like, and they're like, well, what the hell? And they're like, well, we got to protect. You never know. You never know is the term that they kept saying. That Bill Eadie at age like fucking 61 and Barry Darso, or I think it was Darso, I forget, are like, you never know. If New York calls, we gotta be protected. We can't say that we lost on an indie show in front of 25 people because New York might call us anytime. Like,
well, they pulled the same thing with WrestlePro, or when it was PWS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot that they did that.
They pulled the same thing because they booked them against Rock and Roll Express. And they wanted to, and Rock and Roll Express were supposed to go over, and Demolition refused to do the job.
Love it.
And Pat Buck told him to go kick rocks. He unbooked them.
See, that's good. I'm glad he did that. The guy that I'm talking about, like, spent a lot of money to get Billy and Barry Darso in the house. So you best believe the hands were the Demolition's hands were raised at the end of that match, and that's good. I know Beefcake's that way too. Like, he still won't like he'll show up to an indie, but he won't do jobs. And it's like,
yeah,
come on.
It was the same reasoning that they gave. Like, you never know. We can't lose. We got to retain our aura. And it's like, you guys are fucking 60.
It's 15. Like, don't worry.
What aura? What aura exactly? But Bill Eadie will go out there with Demolition Blast, who looks like fucking absolute dog shit. That doesn't hurt the aura at all. The guy wrestles in Zubaz and he doesn't even have wrestling gear. Have you ever seen Demolition Blast?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen Demolition Blast, but
he doesn't even wear proper gear. He wrestles in sneakers and MC Hammer puffy pants. And he's a really big guy, and he doesn't even but that doesn't hurt the aura of Demolition, but losing to the Rock and Roll Express,
right,
on a show that isn't even going to make tape, let alone air anywhere, that's going to hurt your aura. It's amazing how these guys think. It's amazing that Bill DeMott just can't answer my question.
Right.
From a one-off angle.
It's not like you asked him, hey, in WCW, did Eric Bischoff tell you, something like that, where I get why you might want to be like, you know what, I don't really. You asked about Dark Patriot, too, in ECW.
Yeah.
He's done 7 gimmicks since then. He's worked for numerous companies. He's been ahead of fucking training. He's had his run as Hugh Morris. He was General fucking Rection. All these things have happened. He's like, no.
And let's be honest, too. Nobody cares but me. Okay, right. That's the other thing. No one on this earth cares as much about this as I do. No one. So it's like he's not even revealing some long-held wrestling secret that's revered in the wrestling world, right? No one has thought about Dark Patriot 2.
Patriot 2, yeah. You can't go any, the mysteries of wrestling. Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring episode about who the mystery man behind Dark Patriot 2, of course, was. It's ridiculous.
It'd be like Al Perez kayfabing you that he was one of the Black Scorpions, that were harassing Sting in 1990. There's no need to kayfabe something like that, But the point here is, we don't need Bill DeMott. I got someone else to either confirm or deny my suspicions of who portrayed Dark Patriot 2. And I will report back with the update on the next Jovember to Remember. $5 tier, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling.
I do know this. I was looking at the Twitter timeline of the man you were talking to, and he's got a good timeline. The man still loves wrestling. He's talking about AEW. He's talking about these old school indie shows that he's watching. Man, he'd be a good follow. I'd love to talk to this man at
well,
length.
I did slap follow. So people could go peruse our follows if they want to try to figure out who it is. See, I'm dropping hints. But, this man was very nice. He responded to my beautiful form letter. That was a tremendous letter.
Yeah.
I wrote a nice letter to DeMott. I mean, I wasn't rude or obnoxious, I run a professional production around here. So, he was he finally got back. You know what I think it is about this guy? I don't think he lives on the Twitter.
No.
I don't think he saw it until several days later. So my feelings were hurt, but I feel like because he didn't tweet during any of that time either, so he's probably one of these guys that doesn't even have it on his phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say he gets onto his computer to pay his bills, and then when he's done, he jumps on to Twitter.com and sees what's going on.
Right, and he does it like twice a week, which makes him way smarter than we'll ever.
God, I wish I was like that. Jesus Christ, I wish that was me.
Yeah.
But
David Starr wishes that was him too.
Oof, yeah, what a day.
Talk about tugging collars.
Yeah, not going well for old.
DS.
Gonna add another nickname to that list here.
Yeah. Posting through it should be his new nickname. Through it.
He has sponsored an apology on Twitter.
Yes.
He's the cream in your coffee.
Eek. I don't even know what to say. There's posting through it, and then there's posting through it. You know what I mean? Like, listen, man. There's never has log off been more appropriate than it has been for the King of Taunts, which for years I thought was King of Thoughts. For years I
that
thought
could be
that
true.
Saying,
after today's events,
maybe I shouldn't joke, but for years I thought they were saying King of Thoughts because of the way that the usually European ring announcers would pronounce taunts. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like 3 days ago or whatever, that I realized it was King of Taunts. So, I don't know. That's kind of like song lyrics. It's like, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. It's kind of the same theory. But, I thought it was King of Thoughts. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't need to add any more nicknames, but maybe he should drop he's really good at Twitter.
Yeah, right. He's really good at Twitter. That one should go on the back burner for sure, yeah. And
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that story.
No, it's developing still as we're going on. So
it's developing, and it's ugly, and it's really not something we should be like breaking down. I mean, So, and plus, we're doing this live, like as it's happening. On top of that, but yeah, oof, yeah, that's an ugly one. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
That was a
I don't think
for sure.
I don't think it's going to end well for him, though. I think he's going
to be very independent here in a bit, I believe. So yeah,
very independent. Very independent.
So, all right, let's get to this here. So we have a ton to get to today. We got New Japan Cup is back. We're gonna talk about the first two nights. We've seen all the matches from the first two nights. One more plug. Well, we'll do another plug later, I'm sure. Daily New Japan Cup updates at voicewrestling.com/Patreon as well. Every day when a New Japan Cup show happens, you're on there that day to give reviews, talk about the shows, what you need to see, what you need to skip, all that other sort of stuff. $5 tier for that at voicewrestling.com/Patreon. So there's that. So we'll talk about New Japan Cup. Pro Wrestling Noah celebrated their 20-year anniversary just yesterday. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The latest on Evolve, we have some exclusive news and notes that we've kind of been able to gather and some other stuff to talk about what's going on with Evolve and sort of what's been reported. I know PW Torch had an article out as well with some information. So yeah, we'll do the latest on whatever is going to happen with Evolve or what we know as far as right now about Evolve. But at the top of the show, we're going to talk WWE Backlash. And Joe, we cannot start without talking about the greatest wrestling match ever between Edge and Randy Orton. Before we get into, I think, the big picture discussion that we're going to have about what classifies as a wrestling match and whether this is a wrestling match, before we get into that, we'll do that in a sec. But overall, about the segment, the video, the production, whatever the hell you want to call what that was, if you want to call it a match, whatever that was, what did you think overall of Edge versus Orton at Backlash? The greatest wrestling match ever, Joe.
No, I mean, I thought it was a very enjoyable match. We'll get into all of our problems with it and the issues with it, but the piped in crowd noise was corny as hell and took away from it and did not add to it.
Yeah, I agree.
thought it
Right,
was
right at
tough.
the beginning, I was already kind of out in that
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it hurt.
I mean, did they work extremely hard, and did the final product come off tremendously in terms of how the match came off, with the final edit, so to speak? Yeah. I think that if it were a straight bell-to-bell, unedited, live-to-tape or live match and didn't have the goofy piped-in noise, this, to me, it was like a 4.5-star level match. I thought it was really, really good and flirting with match of the year level, assuming it had been a real match. The issue is I do not consider it a real match. I think some of my tweets, at least, and you could speak for yourself on yours, may have come off a little more aggressive than they were intended. But it doesn't offend me that they did this. And I'm not like mad about it. And I enjoyed it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I did. But I can't call it a match, and I don't think it's fair to compare it to other matches. I just think it was the final product was good for what they were trying to do, but what they ended up doing was creating a simulation of a pro wrestling match through a series of edits and reshooting spots and piping in the crowd noise. That's not the same as just doing a pro wrestling match and shooting it live to tape with all its warts. It's just not the same thing. This was much closer to a cinematic match than it was to an actual real pro wrestling match. And that's okay. I don't think it's egregious that they did this, but I also think people need to understand that that's what it was. The best comparison I saw was from someone on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was that replied to us. But even closer than a cinematic match, this was no different than Mickey Rourke versus Necro Butcher and the Wrestler. Same thing. This is no different than Randy the Ram versus whatever was it? What was Ernest Miller's name?
Oh, yeah,
Sheik.
it was like the Sheik or the Sultan. Yeah, I think it was Sheik.
Ayatollah. The Ayatollah.
Oh, the Ayatollah. That's right. Yeah.
That's what this, it's much closer to that than, Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus from 2 hours earlier. It's just not it's not a pro wrestling match. And listen, I've been consistent because I don't consider any of the cinematic matches pro wrestling matches either. How many weeks in a row have we come on here and I've stomped my feet about it and been probably annoying to some, but I don't consider any of these things matches because you're subverting the art of pro wrestling when you're filming a match in pieces and then putting it together later. So, I think it was cowardly of the company to promote this as the greatest match ever and then not have the guts to put them out there and let them try it. They didn't have faith in these guys.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it last week. I would have been insulted if I were Edge or Orton to be asked to do this and then do it in the way they wanted them to do it, because my response would have been, I'm fucking Randy Orton. You don't trust me to go out there after 20 years and just have a great match on my own volition? I'm Edge. I've had great matches for you guys. I know what I'm doing. And it's like, I don't know why they didn't let these two guys go out there and just have their match in front of the Performance Center crowd and give it a go. It wouldn't have been as perfect as this one came out because you don't have the benefit of the editing but I'm fairly certain they could have had a match very close to the quality that they had with all of the editing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
no, I'm right with you. Yeah, that's the thing that kind of struck me, and as watching it and sort of seeing the reaction to it, because I watched it a few days later, seeing the reaction to it and seeing all that sort of stuff. As I'm watching, I'm like, man, why didn't they just let these guys just organically have this match? Because without knowing, with the benefit of hindsight, without knowing exactly what got redone or what got changed or where the cuts were, there were some noticeable cuts that we'll bring up and we'll talk about here. But for the most part, I think that what this match was, I feel like these two could have very easily had this exact same thing without having to do 4 RKOs or without having to stop to, reposition them when they're in a headlock, or stop to, like, cover up Randy Orton's cut and make sure he doesn't bleed all over the ring and stuff like that. Like, I feel like they could have gotten very, very close to this. Like, I cannot imagine that in just one take, if you just said, hey guys, go out there, have this exact same match, put the structure together, finish your spam, do this sort of stuff that you're going to do your kickouts, do all that, all that sort of stuff, without the fake crowd noise, without the cuts, without any of that. Like, I still think that, as far as I know, without knowing exactly what got cut or whatever, or what got moved around, like, I thought this was damn good. So I'm shocked. And like you said, I'm also, like, if I were them, I'd be absolutely offended that they, imagine telling fucking Minoru Suzuki, hey, that gotch pile driver, can we redo that again? Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki, hey, guys, I don't think we got that. Can we run that one back again? Like, no, fuck off. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, and I do wonder if that conversation or that thought ever came in the head of Orton and Edge. Like, say, Orton hits this second RKO or whatever, and they're like, yeah, do it again. And he's got to be like, all right, guys, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm fucking Randy Orton. Like, I'm doing the RKO. I'm like, why are we redoing? Like, at a certain point, you do wonder if it's like, yeah, it's insulting, I think is the correct word to say. Like, I would be insulted if I was those guys, because I think they could have easily had what I would consider, what you would consider, what most people listening would consider a tremendous pro wrestling match, just by having it, just by doing this same structure. But, like, we're talking here now, and we're going to talk about it here in a bit. Like, I don't classify it the same way. I just can't. It's just not. I mean, when you redo a finisher, when you stop to cover up blood and recut in, and when you cut to move a guy so he's facing the camera the right way, when you redo a spear, that sort of, like, it's done now. That, to me, that cannot be a wrestling match anymore. That has lost its simulation of a sporting event, a simulation of a fight, the simulation of whatever. We'll get into the nuance here in a little bit, but, like, it's lost on me. It's done, and that's just, it's kind of a shame, because I would love to come here and say, yeah, that was a great match. What a great effort by these guys. Edge tears his tricep, but man, he guts through it, and they put together a great match, one of the best matches of Randy Orton's careers. If Edge never comes back, what a great way to leave on this note. But now instead the conversation that we're going to have is like, I don't know, what does this thing count as? What do we even call these things? It's a video package, basically, which, I don't really, we don't spend a lot of time breaking down video packages on the show. Sorry. Like,
and it should be noted that he tore his tricep on the reshoot of an RKO spot off the top rope. So, for people that may not understand, this was not as simple as, for years, WWE at, tapings and whatnot, for years, what they have done many times is they'll, like, reshoot the finish of a match if they don't feel like it came off the way they wanted it to. And the way they would do that is they would either send the wrestlers back out there to have a really short, like, 90-second match where they quickly get to the finish, or they'd send them out there to do an angle, which would end, the end result would be, the finish being reshot, or they would have different ways of doing it. And then in post-production, they would splice in the new finish into the match footage. And they've been doing that for years. And a lot of people came at us this week saying, well, if this wasn't a match, how do you, for years they've been reshooting finishes and such. And I'm like, yeah, and that's bullshit too.
Yeah,
so,
like, just a warning, when you're going to what about us, more times than not, I would say probably 90% of the what about blank, we probably fucking hate that too. Like, that's the funny thing that we always get. Yeah, well, what about Lucha Underground? Like, yes, I think Lucha Underground's shit too. Like I'm just warning you, when you're going to do the what about tweet at us, think hey, does this sound like something Joe and Rich would like? It's probably not. Most likely it's not. Yeah. Well, what about Undertaker?
That was another one that kept coming up was, well, Lucha Underground did this, and those matches were great.
We buried the fuck out of them.
Yeah, well, that was part of the reason. Okay, back when Lucha Underground started, I was the reviewer for the site. Okay, remember? And I lasted a couple of months, and then I stopped because when I realized that the matches were all heavily edited, it took something away from me. And I just personally couldn't enjoy it on the same level. And then all the supernatural stuff was just the final death blow. Because that, I just can't tolerate at all. Like, edited matches are one thing. But I can kind of live with that. But once you get to the supernatural stuff, I'm out. But I came on this show years ago and said, I will not star rate Lucha Underground matches because of the nature of the super heavy editing that they do. You know, I've come on this show and said that I do not rate matches that are clipped. You know, old Japanese matches where the only footage we have is joined in progress 7 minutes in. I don't rate them. I mean, but no one cares about, you know, star ratings or Joe Lanza's dopey star ratings. But the point here is I've been consistent through the years on my stance on heavily edited matches. And that's the thing with this Edge Orton thing. It's not just that it was a heavily edited match or clipped or joined in progress or, you know, a finish redone. This, just so people understand what this was a 45-minute match that was filmed over the course of several hours. Okay? Meticulously reshooting spots over and over with the purpose of then splicing in the perfect take. The same way that you would make a movie or a high-budget television show. I'm sorry, that's not a wrestling match. That's not a match. And if you want to say that I'm, you know, being an elitist or uppity about it or like, you know, whatever phrasing you want to use, I'm willing to accept that. The answer is yes, I'm being an elitist. This is not a pro wrestling match. And on this show, we break down the business of pro wrestling, the art of pro wrestling. We get into the art of how wrestlers put the matches together. And quite honestly, while I respect the effort that the wrestlers put into this and the hard work because they worked hard, I do not respect putting matches together like this. I don't have much respect for it. It's not a pro wrestling match. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here.
I can't be more clear. Like, I thought the end result was good. Can I sit here and tell you, can I compare this to, you know, and just name another match, an AEW match, another match on this show, Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, or a New Japan match on the New... No, there's no comparison because what they did was subverting the art. Just forget the editing. The piped-in crowd noise. Can I talk about that for a second?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I hated that. Hated it.
So the whole goal of pro wrestlers are to tell a story in the ring and manipulate crowd emotions and response. If you're piping in crowd noise at the right times and piping in the right response, okay, you're cheating. You're cheating. You're subverting the art. Okay? That's...
Which, by the way, people are going to say, oh, they've done that for years. Yeah, it fucking sucks when they do it. And
Yeah,
they don't
that's
do it often.
something.
And they don't do it often. And when they do it, a lot of people call them out for it all the time. So, yeah.
It's not a good thing. And this isn't just... And I'm going to disagree with that, too, on the level of this isn't just a dead SmackDown taping where they put in the sound of ambiance just to... No.
Or we had chants. We had all that sort of stuff interspliced in it.
This was splicing in the proper... this was splicing in the desired response at all of the right times. If I'm a pro wrestler, I would have fought this tooth and nail. This is insulting. This isn't trusting me to go out and work my match and get that response from the planted crowd, by the way, that you had in the place. You're telling me you don't trust my ability to do that, so I'm going to put artificial sounds right where they belong with the perfect responses every time. That's not a pro wrestling match. That is a simulated creation of a pro wrestling match the same way you would do for a movie or a television show. It's not having faith in the performers to deliver the stipulation that you pushed, which should be insulting to them. But Randy Orton's the kind of guy, or I don't even think he gives a shit. Randy Orton just wants to cash his check. And I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with someone who just wants to cash their check. But any pro wrestler that has any sort of pride in their work would have been very insulted by this, and I'm sure that there's some pro wrestlers who would have refused some of the elements of this. So, all of it was just it all came off very manufactured and artificial. And in spite of all that, these two guys worked their ass off, and the final product ended up being something very enjoyable. It's just a shame that they weren't allowed to attempt it on their own. It was gutless. It was gutless on behalf of the company to not allow those guys to go out there and do that. I don't think it would have been as good as it turned out to be. I think they could have gotten very close. We pick on Randy Orton. Look, he's a competent pro wrestler. He is. And he can, we talked about it last week, he can peak at that level.
Oh, absolutely. If he wants to and needs to, he will. He absolutely will. And he knows how much it meant to Edge to go out there and have a great match. So he said, fuck it, yeah, I'll bust my ass for you. Because he can do it. He just chooses not to a lot of times, which is fine. Again, I don't care. I get it. I get the Randy Orton MO. I understand it. But yeah, you understand that, when he knows how important this is to Edge. And Edge is obviously a guy who takes a lot of pride in his work. And Orton said, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go. We'll have a great match. We can. And they did.
And this was the match they put together. They just carefully reshot all the spots to make sure it was perfect. So it's not like they weren't capable of putting together this level of match. They did. We saw it. Would the execution have been as crisp and perfect? Of course not. Because when you're shooting spots 2, 3, 4 times and then choosing the best one, that's cheating. And again, you may not care. If you're a casual viewer, here's the thing, Rich. I don't think a casual viewer cares, nor should they. They turned on their little WWE network, they watched the match, and if they enjoyed it, that's all that matters. But again, on this show, that's not what we do. On this show, if you produce a match in that manner, you're getting called out on it. And you're not getting credit for it in our little corner of the world. That's not happening. Because it's not the same. That's not Okada and Omega going out there and laying themselves on the line for 60-plus minutes, warts and all. That's not name any match. It doesn't matter. Just name any match where they do it the right way. That's not what this was.
Right. And I did see a lot of comparisons, or at least people mentioning, guys that would put together matches like a Randy Orton or a Randy Savage rather, and DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, guys that would meticulously lay out, spots and lay out their matches or whatever. And I still think that that's different though, because like you said, once you walk through that curtain, then it is what it is. Yes, you might have an idea, you might have practiced the match or whatever, or Sasha and Bailey, or where they practice the spots, and some people would say, oh, that's not real wrestling because you practice the spots, and to me it doesn't, because it's still, as you said, you're not. I don't think you're subverting the art form in that sense, because you're still going out there, you still have to perform it, you still have to find ways to manipulate the crowd. It's close to this, but it's not the same as, okay, sorry, hit the bank statement again so we can get a better shot of that. Okay, cool. All right, let's do it one more. Like that ceases to be what it is. And at this show, and we've always said, like you and I have always said, that we are, we come at this from the sports sense, and there are a lot of people that don't. There are a lot of people that cinematic wrestling and all this sort of stuff, to them it's just a comic book. Wrestling is a superhero movie, a superhero TV show, whatever it is. But you and I have always said we came at it from the sports sense. So we always like wrestling that mimics sports and acts like sports and looks like sports and is taken seriously, and the wrestlers want to prove that they're better and all that sort of stuff. And like that's all the way that we're always going to be on the show, and we're always going to kind of say that. And to me, I look at it in that sense too, that like I do the same thing if, like, Game 7 of the fucking NLCS, they're like, yeah, Kristen Yelich, it'd be cool if you hit a home run here. So let's, you only grounded out and scored the run. It'd be cool if you hit a home run. So let's actually get you back out there and hit the home. Like it's not a game anymore. You know what I mean? That's not it. It's not a sport anymore. If we're manipulating it to that level where it's like, that was a good homer, but it'd be really good if it went to like, center field so we can get a better shot of it. Like that, you lose it there. And that's kind of what I feel like with this match, where it does differ from, hey, here's the plan we have, here's sort of what we're going to do, here's the practice that we're going to do for the spot. Because once you get out there, and once you I promise you, even in Savage Steamboat, even in DDP, even in Sasha Bailey, something in that match happened that wasn't exactly the way they wanted to, and they had to work through it and get around it, or the crowd didn't react exactly the way they wanted, so they had to find a way around it and do that sort of stuff. In this case, they didn't have to worry about that. The crowd was being made for them, the match was being pieced together for them, and anytime there was a screw up, they could immediately go back and do it again. If there was ever a move that didn't look crisp, they could go back and do it again. If there's something that they didn't feel was right, they could go back and do it again. And that's just you're losing. That's it ceases to be a match and just now turns into a video production, a movie, like you said. And some people might be fine with that, some people might like that, but I certainly won't be one of those. And if WWE decides, hey, this is great, we need to do this for all this, all of our big matches or whatever, then that's when I cease to watch big WWE matches.
Yeah, it's on the subject of pre-scripting out match layouts, DDP style, or practicing matches, Sasha Banks style down at the Performance Center. No, that's not the same thing, because they're still going out there and they're performing for a live crowd or a live audience or a live to tape audience, and having a bell-to-bell match. In fact, I don't even know why we have to explain the distinction. It's actually crazy to me that we were getting people arguing the other way. It's one of those things where I cannot even understand the counter argument to how this could even be considered a pro wrestling match. It's just not. It's a Frankenstein together series of spots filmed over the course of 4 or 5 hours. We know that the spot where he tore the tricep was redone at least 3 times because he tore his tricep on the second or third attempt. We know that they stopped the match at one point to clean up Randy Orton's blood because he was upset about it and he wanted them to film through, because we got secondhand information from someone in the building that they stopped the match and Randy Orton was screaming to Vince McMahon from the ring, "Let me bleed, let me bleed."
Right. And you know why they did that, right? It goes to how ridiculous this whole thing was, is that, say Randy Orton rolls into the ring with blood on his forehead. He starts getting blood on the mat. If they want to cut back and forth and, hey, there's, this is, you can't have anything, nothing can, if for continuity purposes, you can't have a giant puddle of blood, in the corner of the ring, and then 10 minutes later it cuts to a spot. And that speaks to how ridiculous it was that a man couldn't just bleed without it having to stop and get cleaned up, because it would have ruined potential editing, later in the match. And that, again, now we're doing a different thing now. This isn't a wrestling match anymore. It's a movie. Which does show me he has some level of pride in his work, because he probably also understood that the blood helped. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it was ludicrous, because then it cuts and 4 seconds later, there's no blood anymore. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, come on. And
there were other, if you watch it closely, there's a couple of different spots where you could see a cameraman in the ring. Mm-hmm. There's the one spot that Botchamania picked out where Samoa Joe is talking for like 15 seconds and the camera's on him and he's not speaking. And it's like, those are more funny than anything else, but it speaks to the absurdity of it, of the whole thing. So no, it's not a pro wrestling match. I said the same thing for Stadium Stampede. That was not a pro wrestling match in my eyes either. And honestly, I'm not even interested in entertaining arguments. I mean, these are not matches, because it's subverting the art form. And if that makes me some upper crust elitist, I'm okay with that. It's sometimes you have to draw a line somewhere, and like you said, if this is where wrestling is going, I'm not going there with it. I talk about it all the time. A lot of these older guys in wrestling, at some point they get their feet stuck in the cement, right? And they stop evolving. Jim Cornette's the best example. If pro wrestling becomes an art form where the matches are put together in that manner, that's where Joe Lanza's feet go in the cement. I'm not going with wrestling if that's where we're going. And, I don't think that's going to happen. But to me, I won't get the same enjoyment out of it at that point, because there's something about the raw performance, and I have a ton of respect. I marvel at how good Major League Pro wrestlers are these days, and how they never blow spots, and that stuff is amazing to me. And that's part of the reason I enjoy it, how skilled that these people are and how talented they are. And how I get swept up in suspension of disbelief because they're so good. Those are things I love about pro wrestling. And if you're just artificially eliminating the warts, some of the great moments in pro wrestling have come from botches and warts and things not going the way that they're supposed to go. I don't want a slickly produced Hollywood production when it comes to my wrestling matches. Okay? It helps that they're a little gritty and real. What are we even talking about here? Just have matches. I mean, we can't be Frankenstein matches together. Why am I defending my stand?
Pro wrestling, yeah.
Why are you what? I'm right. I am right. I shouldn't have to be defending myself. It's crazy. This is lunacy that there's people that argued with us, and there wasn't a ton. Believe me. The overwhelming majority of people agree that even if it was enjoyable to them, it was cheating. It wasn't, and you could argue end result all you want, right? That's fine, but it's like I don't have the same respect for what they did as what I have Dynamite on right now. That whatever this tag team title match, because they're doing it and it's raw and it's in front of people and it's live to tape, warts and all. That is the art of pro wrestling. Not splicing shit together in a fucking video room, in a search for perfection, because you didn't have the confidence to deliver on the stipulation, and you didn't have the confidence in in the wrestlers, and it was cowardly. And the reason they did it was because now in WWE canon, this is the greatest match ever. This is the greatest match of all time. And you're going to be hearing this repeated forever. This is one of their, this in their version of history, this is now the greatest match ever. And they were so cowardly that they went to these lengths to make sure that it was at least something that could reasonably be called that without them looking like complete idiots. Because they were scared that it wasn't going to deliver.
Anything else about the match itself? We kind of touched on it. Like I enjoyed it a lot as well, but mostly the enjoyment that I took from it was a lot of like weird disappointment that like I wish I could just come out of the show and say, "God damn, Joe, what a great match." Edge and Orton just went out there, busted their ass. Edge got hurt, but if this is his final match, what a final performance. Randy Orton, one of the best matches of his career, whatever, but I just can't. Like the entire time as the match is happening, I'm saying, God, this is good, and I wish I could just say, good job, great effort by these guys. Oh my God, what a great match! But you can't.
I can only praise them to a certain level because they didn't have the pressure of live performance. They were performing with a net, and that changes everything. When they know they can fuck up, and that pressure is removed, I can only praise you I could praise your hard work. I could praise the end result, but I can only praise your performance to a certain extent. I can't go all the way with it and say that these guys were phenomenal in the match. They were performing with a safety net. I don't know how many spots they blew. I don't know how many times they had to redo all of the cool spots that were in the match.
Right, and that's what I'm left the entire time is thinking, like, God, this is good, but, like, how good was it? You know what I mean? Like, what was the final result? How many times did they have to redo these things? How many times did they have to recut? What would it have sounded like in front of a real crowd? What would the PC crowd have? There was too many questions that I had throughout the entire time, and I was left just being ultimately disappointed by not by the effort by any of the guys, but just disappointed that they just wouldn't let these guys go out there and just do it and just have a great match, and that sucks. It speaks to just one of the huge issues in this company, and I don't think that we're gonna this is gonna become the norm. Like I don't think this is gonna become something that happens all the time, but I would not be shocked to see it happen every so often. That when a big time match comes, that Vince is going to want to put it in the PC and control the atmosphere and do that sort of stuff, because this is kind of in a weird way, this is a little bit of what he's kind of always wanted wrestling to be in a lot of way, where he can then manipulate it and his editors can manipulate it and he can be the director of this show, and these guys can go do their own spots, and he can say no, do it again, do it better. That's where I have a little bit of a worry, is that like I'm sure internally they're looking at it like, wow, that was great. They're looking at the response, and the response more than not, like you said, is positive of this. And I do see it. Maybe not like it's going to be very hard to do it like all the time, obviously, when crowds come back. But I don't think that this is the last we've seen of this style of a match, a Frankenstein's monster-esque, putting parts together and redoing spots and that sort of stuff for matches that they truly want to stand the test of time. They want to control it because they control everything in that company. They control the way you talk, the words you say, the way that you say the words, you know what I mean? Like the way you walk, the way you enter the ring, the way you look around, the way you interact with the crowd. Like they control all that. So why would we think that they wouldn't want to control the way that the actual matches are structured and laid out and stuff too?
And the match responses, which is the essence of pro wrestling, and earning those responses is what pro wrestling is all about.
Right. And since they haven't been able to manipulate a crowd in about 6 years, that might not be the best idea, where Vince goes, God damn, pal, we don't have to worry about these assholes anymore, ruining our big matches. Yeah,
exactly, because their stories are so terrible that no one responds to them.
So Roman can come out and the crowd will love Roman Reigns and give him huge cheers and all that sort of stuff, and he'll Roman, and he wins the match, and it's like, yeah, goddamn, they love him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's like, and that's how we don't truly know that it was a great match, because we don't know how do we know the crowd would have responded favorably to the match layout that they constructed? We don't know. I suspect the match would have been over, but we don't know. And at least if they just would have let them go out there with the PC crowd and not treated their crowd, the PC crowd, like a studio audience, and just told them, hey, react organically. You don't think they would have been enthusiastic? They're wrestlers. Of course they would have been enthusiastic. It's like they're just scared of letting anything be organic in that company. And it's part of the reason why that company is so fucking terrible. I watched Raw all the way through because I wanted to watch Pritchard's first Raw. And a lot of other people did too, because they quote unquote popped a rating this week. And they still did. Isn't that amazing? They did under 2 million viewers.
They popped it. Hey, and champagne is being popped. Yes, yeah.
They're celebrating. They're celebrating for doing a rating that was under 2 million total viewers, which is incredible to me. And don't think for 1 second that's going to hold up. It was number one. It was post pay-per-view. Number two, there was curiosity because of the change from Heyman to Pritchard. And number three, they loaded it up with Christian, Ric Flair, and Big Show. Bruce Pritchard, listen, Rich, we're like Nostradamus.
I feel so bad about the Big Show thing.
Yeah.
I said old guys and Big Show. I didn't expect Christian, but old guy, Ric Flair, and Big Show. It's perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
and they essentially bait and switch the main event and tease the main event that they didn't give you to achieve that shitty 1.9 million viewers. Okay, they also, on top of all of that, lied to the audience and said you were getting Christian's return match and then didn't give it to you. That is the lengths they went to quote unquote pop 1.9 million viewers. Okay. And the Raw show that I watched it start to finish. It was bad. It was eventful, but it was bad. And what's weird about that is, like, a lot of people thought it was good because the standards are so low now. Okay. You had a bait and switch main event that they didn't deliver on. You had the return of the Ninjas, which we're going to talk about later. You had a terrible stipulation in the Drew McIntyre's title was on the line in one of those goofy tag team matches where, like, the other guy can get pinned and you can lose your title. And he was teaming with R-Truth, who's a comedy character. It was just a horrible, horrible wrestling show. And this was considered an improvement from the even more horrible shows that Heyman was putting out there, and from the shittier ratings that the show was delivering with Heyman. Like, that's the state of this company right now, where they can have a horrible Raw, but because the standards are so low, people thought it was pretty okay. That's where we're at now with this company. It's bad. And this is why people are leaving in droves. Because, Rich, you and I are not the minority opinion anymore. People don't like this shit. And I didn't know this rant was coming, but it just kind of spiraled off of the Orton and Edge stuff. But, Raw. And it's like every time I watch Raw in full, it just strikes me like, okay, so Randy Orton's out there doing a promo, and everybody on Twitter is praising his great promo work, and Randy Orton's doing the best work of his career, both in the ring and on the mic. First of all, his match was a fucking farce, okay, for reasons we already talked about. That's number one. So you people are crazy from that perspective. Number two, because I don't know how good his match was, okay? I don't know how good the match was. So it wasn't a real match.
Yeah, what if in the first 2 hours they just botched a bunch of spots and they went back and said, okay, we got to redo this entire match, guys. Okay, now here's what you're going to do. Like, what if they had an idea for a match? They went out there in the first 2 hours, it was fucking terrible. You know what I mean? And Vince threw his headset down and said, God damn it, no. Okay, come on, we're going to redo this. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how you're going to do it. Like, yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. We have no idea.
And number two, with his promos, he cuts a very good WWE-style pre-written promo. No question about it. But I'm watching his promos on Raw, and while they're very good by the standards of that company, they're just it's awful, pre-written, terrible material, delivered in that hokey WWE style. And, like, by any other standard, they're not good promos. Right? So it's like, when you stop watching Raw for a while and you come back to it, you notice these things.
Oh, I can't do it. Like, I've been gone for so long that I watched, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of Raw on Monday, and it physically pained me to watch it. I just immediately quit out. I went and turned something else on, and Michelle's sitting next to me. She's like, you can keep watching if you want. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't. There's like a visceral reaction when you go back to it. It's just so weird.
It's so weird. Like, Orton and Christian are in that opening segment, and it's getting widely praised, and it's weird because I get it, because it's good by those standards. Mm-hmm. But you're watching this, and it's like they're doing that terrible high school play audition style acting, and it's just so unnatural and shitty, and just like cringe, eye roll inducing, fucking unnatural garbage that would get both of those guys thrown out of any fucking acting audition. But it's considered good by the standards of what you normally get in that company. The Christian making these weird faces, these facial expressions. Just go out. let them just go out there and why are we even doing this? It's
no
such a
point
waste.
anymore.
It's such a waste of time. They don't even let them go out there and have matches anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you're worried about the promos. They don't even let them have matches anymore without saying. And that's why that like you kind of were like, I don't think this is gonna be the norm, and people were like, no, it's not gonna be the norm. Like I'm not so sure that it. I mean, I know that obviously there's a limit to what you can do when you're in front of crowds, but if you don't think that some other big time matchup's gonna come, and they're going to say, you know what, let's have it be a whatever match, and it's going to be taped in the PC. Like, I don't think this is the last we've seen of this. I really don't. For Vince, this is the perfect solution to what he's always been struggling with. It is the one thing he could never control is when the bell rings. A lot of that stuff he could never control. He can now.
Yeah. And just create his own artificial reactions, So that might be you contend that this could open a Pandora's box.
Yeah,
I think that would be disastrous for the company.
I'm fucking done if that happens.
They've got their TV deals, I get it, and man, are they lucky because the Raw that I watched the other night was 2000 WCW. That's what it was. That's how bad it was. Just the hokiness and the bad stipulations. And I felt like I was watching Dying Days WCW. I was watching a Vince Russo show. I mean that. It was a Vince, and that's what Pritchard's going to do. That's what SmackDown has been to some extent. You had the Miz and Morrison challenging Braun for the title. I mean, that's Pritchard. It's garbage. It's reductive garbage. And, it's I don't know what. I guess we should break down the Backlash.
Yeah. Let's do that. So we'll start. We'll actually kind of work our way back. I think that's an interesting way to do it because while we're all angry and stuff, I don't know if I can be even angry about this, but Viking Raiders Street Profits, whatever the holy fuck this was, Joe. I was following on Twitter on Sunday as the show was going on. I wasn't watching it live. I followed on Monday. I read reviews, I listened to recap shows, and people, briefly talked about this Viking Raiders Street Profits thing or whatever, and then I watched it yesterday, and I am blown away by how utter fucking shit this was. This was the worst thing this company has ever fucking produced. This was... I almost wanted to text you and just say, I'm done. I'm not doing the show anymore. I'm not talking WWE anymore. This is the worst shit ever. Can I please skip this? And it never fucking ended. And then it ended without any real result whatsoever because there was fucking ninjas.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to, read a recap of this just to let people that did not see it, that you would not believe the amount of utter shit that was on my television screen for 25 minutes during this horrid fucking segment. Awful.
I don't even think it's hyperbole, Rich. It is arguably the worst thing they've ever produced. And they have produced mountains of just unfunny or flat out offensive or do I still have you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I've not had a heart attack. I'm still alive. So.
It got oddly quiet. I thought maybe we got disconnected, and I get nervous because it's live now. And I should have taken my piss before the show because I have to piss for 3 hours now. I never think about that. But they've done some offensive shit. They've done some just horrible, unfunny shit. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining. It didn't make any semblance of sense. And it was arguably the worst thing that this company has ever produced. And when you think about the ground that covers, that's incredible. I don't even know how to react to it. It was just over the top, hokey, stupid. It was just stupid.
Okay, so here's the write up on WWE.com. This is going to be great. Are you ready for this one?
This is going to be great.
This is going to
because they're going to try to make it sound like it was made sense. And I mean, there was an alligator in the dumpster at the end.
And nothing was funny. Not even Joe. Not even the fucking crack of a smile. Not one point did any of my teeth reveal themselves while I was watching this.
It's like you said a couple of weeks ago. If you fought with the Money in the Bank, I would love to know people who think this kind of stuff is funny, what else they think is funny. What else are you watching when you aren't watching wrestling that you consider humorous? If you think any of this, I mean, like you said, I didn't even crack a smirk I was so befuddled at what was on the screen that I couldn't even. Where were the jokes? What was supposed to be funny? Anyway, go ahead and read it.
All right. While the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders didn't wage a war in the ring for the Raw Tag Team titles as expected, they did treat the WWE Universe to a surreal brawl at WWE Backlash. The fisticuffs began in the parking lot with the incidental destruction of Braun Strowman's car. How many cars? Why can we just not do cars for a week? When I saw fucking Braun Strowman slowly backing into a parking spot, I'm like, what are we doing? He's not cool. He's slowly backing into a parking spot.
Ugh.
Right? Like, how ridiculous was that? This wasn't even because they destroyed his car in this segment, but earlier in the show, you see like some fucking old Buick pull up. I don't know nothing about cars, so it doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me or whatever. They're like,
nothing to me.
That's Braun Strowman's Buick. Like, wow, what a car! What a nice car! And as this is going on, Braun Strowman is slowly backing into the parking spot. Like he's trying to get the best spot at fucking Kohl's. You know what I mean? Like, like just fucking park the car. Like he's supposed to be this bad. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin ever parallel park in the lines?
Yeah, he's
right?
backing in. You're right. He wants to be able to leave quickly. When he's
What are we doing? Stone Cold had a fucking monster truck and he'd run over everyone else's car and then just get out of it with a beer in his hand. Yeah. That was a star. This guy is slowly making sure he's in the lines. You know, I don't want someone to open the door and hit the side of your car or whatever. You know? Yeah. He wants to make sure that he doesn't have to look behind him. There's no rear view camera in his old classic car, so he wants to make sure he can pull out as quick as possible. What are we doing?
Yeah,
and that's supposed to be cool. I'm supposed to think, oh wow, look at that guy.
Yeah, the only reason you do that back end move is when you're running into the grocery store and you want to get home and get started on dinner. Right. So you don't want to have to. So you want to save those 8 seconds that it would take to, look in your rear view and back out. So, but you're losing the same time backing into the spot.
Yeah,
so
it's fucking ridiculous. It's absurd. Yeah. But anyway, the fisticuffs began in the parking lot with the incidental destruction of Braun Strowman's car before spilling into the WWE Performance Center.
Okay, stop.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, stop. So I'm going to do this a lot.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead. Please do.
One thing about Vince McMahon is he thinks we all really care when someone's car gets destroyed.
Right. I don't know why we would have ever cared.
Why do I care?
I don't give two shits if Braun Strowman's old Buick got ruined.
I couldn't give a shit. But they really think we care about that. Like they really think that we are vicariously live through that. Like, Rich, a meteor could hit my car right now, and I would not care. I
just
my
call
own
the
car.
Insurance company and say, "Hi, a meteor hit my car." So what can we do about this? Yeah,
exactly. Anna J is on my screen. Let me tell you.
Oh, that's the real smoke show.
Enjoying it, Rich. Enjoying it. But you may continue.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. No, I think one time I remember as a kid when I think Stone Cold ran over the Rock's car with a monster truck, and it was like a Buick LeSabre, and I remember at the time it wasn't even like a cool car, and I was like, why do I care? I was like 12, and I was like, I don't fucking care. The Rock's an asshole. Fuck him.
Yeah.
But it was not done for sympathy. It was done for Stone Cold to be an asshole and prove that he was making fun of The Rock by destroying his car. Which is different than in this case where Braun Strowman was supposed to be upset or who the fuck knows. Anyway, channeling
and the other thing is, I have never thought a pro wrestler was cooler because I saw their car.
Because you saw them drive a car.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy has a car. That's cool.
There's not a single instance, not Eddie Guerrero, not Stone Cold, not the fucking Revival in their old timey pickup
maybe
truck.
Alberto. Alberto used to have some pretty nice rides. He's
not Alberto.
Oh, I like the Alberto car. I will say I like the Alberto car.
Not JBL. There isn't a single wrestler I've ever seen that I've thought he is cooler because of the car he's driving to the match. Anyway, they're putting Abaddon on Dynamite. Oof. I don't know how I feel about this.
Channeling the prowess he recently demonstrated on Raw, Ivar sent a bowling ball straight into Montez Ford's groin.
So they're stealing from the Brahmin brothers here, basically. Yeah.
The combatants moved back outside. So that was quick little jaunt in the Performance Center. We're back outside. The combatants moved back outside after Ivar and Angelo Dawkins went through a glass door, but they soon found themselves encircled by an apparent ninja motorbike gang led by none other than former NXT Cruiserweight Champion Akira Tozawa.
Akira Tozawa making stereotypical Asian noises.
Yeah, the entire time while they're wearing cloths on their faces. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
the man who I think played a huge role in Kai and Tai doing the Indeed, Godzilla fake voiceover stuff. Now in charge of Akira Tozawa's motorbike gang. So
Correct.
Ninja motorbike gang. I'm sorry. Ninjas.
Yes.
We're bringing ninjas back. It's fucking ridiculous. Temporarily joining forces as the Viking Prophets, the foursome mowed them down one at a time until Tozawa revealed a giant masked ninja nearly twice his size, fully equipped with a sword.
Yes. So this giant 7'3" ninja also had a sword. This is a performance center guy who used to be a college basketball player at, I believe, South Florida.
Yes.
Maybe he's talented. He's obviously a good athlete. You always worry about the freak show giants in terms of their mobility and their agility and things like that. But who knows? Maybe he'll be really good. The thing is, if he turns out to be a major star, it's not going to be because of this. This will be looked at as his Oz. This is like Kevin Nash as Oz. The thing that you look
Deacon
back at.
Batista. The Deacon Batista that they're going, oh, well, he was saddled with this, and then he became a star. It's like,
Yeah. So it's like, this is just horrendous. You cannot become a star off of this. You got to pivot in another way. So, look, it's good. The guy's getting on TV, but I kind of feel bad for him because this is, again, and we're not the only ones saying this. Like, I've seen this opinion in many places that this is legitimately the worst thing the company has ever done. But you may continue.
Fleeing atop a WWE semi-truck, yes, another vehicle, in case you're curious, the temporary allies renewed hostilities before all four fell below into a dumpster, highlighted by an encore edition of Air Ivar. This is when the alligator was in there, too, because that was funny.
There was a alligator, yeah. What is going on? What are we doing here?
With their crash landing apparently stirring a growling beast awake, all four men quickly exited to instead continue the rivalry on another day. It
is so much worse.
Can we not talk about this company ever again? Yeah, they threw bowling balls and groins. They went through the glass when it was fucking terrible. The ninja gang showed up in helmets and stereotypical ninja gear. The camera cuts were bad. Ivar had a fucking meat. He was just carrying meat with him the entire time. Or maybe it was Eric. I forget who. Just, what are we doing? The referee comes up and goes, what are you guys doing? You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in the ring. Like, how bad was that?
Yeah, here's the whole thing. This was a match.
This was supposed to be a match.
This is a match. I don't know who won, but it's supposed to be a match on top of everything else. And it's way worse than that description describes.
Yeah, like, you almost have to watch it. I would actually recommend most people watch it, unfortunately.
No, this is must watch. You have to watch this. You have to watch. This is Triple H fucking Katie Vick. Like, you have to watch it. Yeah. That's the level we're talking here. But yeah, utterly horrendous. This was one of the weirder pay-per-views they've ever done. With the whole carefully constructed fake match in the main event and this fucking mess. And then like the count out in the like this is just a weird. I didn't even hate the show, honestly.
No,
like,
actually, going back, I actually liked most of the matches, but I also fucking hated the show. It's weird.
It was weird
because everything in between was like the worst shit you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we should talk about the actual matches that took place on the show at some point. Let's move this shit along.
Yeah, let's get going.
There's a lot happening. Let me tell you, there's a lot happening on this Dynamite.
There you go.
Sound off here. I won't. But yeah, there's a
hot little show.
Can't say I like everything happening, but there's a lot happening. I don't know how I feel about Abaddon. That's not Joe Lanza gimmick, Rich. Crawling to the ring like a monster and bleeding out of the mouth, and I feel like you should send that to Impact with the Undead Realm, and just so I don't have to pay attention to it, just so I could, I don't know how I feel about it, Rich. The Abaddon, not a big fan. Anyway.
Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. So Drew McIntyre retains the title, defeats Bobby Lashley. That was a good little match between these guys. I enjoyed this. Not great. I think their Impact match we talked about that happened a few years ago was probably a little bit better, but I thought this was pretty damn good.
What is this now? What are we talking about?
Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. Hard hitting, stiff. Yeah, I thought this was a really good match. 3 3/4, flirting with the Notebook.
Yeah.
I think there was one other match that was at that level too on this show. But, I thought these guys, they've had good chemistry in the past, like we talked about last week, and I thought they'd go out there and have a good, hard-hitting match, and that's what this was.
Braun Strowman defeated The Miz and Morrison in a 2-on-1 handicap, retained his title. This was fucking terrible. Just utter shit.
Yeah, I've got no use for this. It doesn't even matter whether the work was good or anything. It's just the video package leading into the match was may have been the second worst thing.
Oh, the music video that they did?
Yeah, like Miz and Morrison's antics, and it's cringe. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's just, and I already have a low tolerance for comedy. I don't know if you've noticed, Rich, but I already have a low tolerance for like fucking utter nonsense. But then when it's not funny on top of it, so then how can I care about the match? Like, why would I be invested in this at all? To me, it's not even really a match in the sense that it's like, it's just a long comedy segment. And I don't know. It's no use for it. I have nothing to add. It's just Bruce Pritchard garbage.
All right, and then we had the Asuka Nia Jax match that ended in a double countout. Joe, I want to read you how Tom Phillips got us ready for this match. You ready?
Yeah.
Quote. This is Facefuck Phillips here. Right now, we are getting set for the Raw Women's Championship match between our eccentric and charismatic champion Asuka and her monolithic opponent, the towering Nia Jax.
Whew.
Right now, we are getting set for the Raw Women's Championship match between our eccentric and charismatic champion Asuka and her monolithic opponent, the towering Nia Jax.
It's just so wordy. You know what I was watching the other day, and it ties into this nicely. I was watching, on the network, I just wanted some background noise, and they have like these best of playlist sort of deals, and I watched the one for the Nexus. So it takes you through the whole history of the Nexus with the big angle on Raw where Daniel Bryan gets fired, and then all of the steps along the way, Wade Barrett, the John Cena thing, the whole storyline. It's actually put together very well. But I'm watching this Nexus playlist on the network. And if you recall, Rich, every time the Nexus cut a promo on Raw, each member of the Nexus would take turns on the mic for a couple seconds.
Michael Tarver needed his 15 seconds to talk, yes.
Right. And then it would end with Wade Barrett because he was the leader, and then he would cut the longer part of the promo, right? But so they'd all stand there with their armbands in a line, the 7 of them, because Bryan got fired immediately, and they brought him back for SummerSlam. Remember, as the mystery partner of the babyface side. But anyway, so every time they were in the ring doing a promo, every time they would hand the mic off, Michael Cole would have to quickly describe who the man was and what he was all about, because we're stupid and we need to be retold all the time. So it'd be like Tarver would talk and he'd hand the mic over, and Michael Cole would go, "That's Justin Gabriel. He's from South Africa and he's a high flyer of the highest order." And then Justin Gabriel would talk and he would hand over the mic and he would go, "Now Skip Sheffield from College Station, Texas, 280 pounds and as tough as it gets." And it would go all down the line, and he would describe these guys and then he would do that every time they did a promo each week on Raw, because we're so stupid that we can't remember who anybody is. And this Vince McMahon doctrine of treat every show and every segment like someone's watching for the first time. Is there any other television show on earth have you ever turned on an episode of The Sopranos and Tony's sitting there at the Bing and Christopher walks in and Tony turns to the camera and goes, "That's my nephew Christopher."
Right.
I think he has questionable leadership abilities, but I'm grooming him anyway for a spot at Capo. But he really has to solve those substance abuse issues. No, they don't do that, okay? Because if you're watching for the first time, 40 minutes into the show, you're going to get the gist of who he is if the show is done well. You don't need to explain it every time. It's ridiculous. And it's just and that's what you're talking about here. It's like it's everything is just so wordy and over-explained and pounding in your head. And when you go away from this company for a while and come back, it's just all the more annoying. When you watch every week, you kind of get this Stockholm syndrome, and you don't even notice how absurd that their language is, and the way that they do things.
Well, I always say, imagine the first time someone stumbles upon the show. They're flipping channels. They see Raw, whatever happens. There's no way that you could possibly ever. It's so weird. It's not it's so unique. It's like an alien world when you come in here. Nobody talks normal. Everyone talks weird. Everything looks weird. Everybody acts strangely. Like, I don't feel like you would ever come back to this. I feel like you would, and well, clearly they don't. But yeah, stuff like this. Like, why do we need the eccentric and charismatic champion Asuka versus the monolithic, towering Nia Jax? What are we doing? Like,
I don't know.
well, anyway, they had no idea how to finish this match, so we did a double count out. So great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
They're really pushing Nia Jax as the largest and most dangerous woman in the history of the promotion. So they don't want to beat her. So they're doing this thing where Nia Jax is getting a big push. They'll give up on it in fucking 6 weeks. You know, and she'll either get injured or go away, and they'll bring her back and they'll rinse, repeat, and they'll do all this again. It's just, you know, she never gets over. So I don't know. They're in a phase where they're really into Nia Jax. You know,
Sheamus, Jeff Hardy. Are you done with Asuka, Nia Jax? Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, just, you know, every 6 months, my brother gets way into his paintball guns, and then he plays with them for a fucking week, and then he forgets that he has them, and then a year later, he's really into his paintball guns again. That's Asuka. Asuka is my brother's paintball guns.
Is he's a paintball or airsoft? He's paintball for sure?
The fuck do I not?
Oh, okay, I don't know. We'll ask him next time.
He's like, all I know is every 6 months he's like, nah, I can't talk Saturday. I'm going paintballing, you know, or some shit like that. Or look at this new paintball gun I bought. And I'm like, I don't know anything about it. I'm not pressed. Yeah. You're showing the wrong guy. Like, okay, you tell me if it's good. I can't put you over because I don't know anything about the fucking hobby, you know. But
I have a buddy who was a competitive paintballer. He traveled the country, traveled the world doing paintball. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's how you knew all these details that went right over my head. So I don't know.
Sheamus, Jeff Hardy. This went 16 minutes. I would say I think this is my favorite match of the night. This was really goddamn good. I was not anticipating this match at all, given that it was surrounded by, like, the story was a fake DUI and piss being thrown on people and stuff. Did you catch that Fox basically fucking took the piss away from the West Coast feed on
yes.
SmackDown? Did you say that's incredible that they're just like, what the fuck? Even Fox is like, no, we're not going to show somebody throwing piss on somebody else. No, we're not doing it. Yeah. Hopefully they rip out the contract then too. Anyway,
Rich, this is 2000 WCW.
I know. I've been saying it for a while. They were towing the line of 98 to 99. They have fully dove into 2000 WCW at this point, and honestly, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. So, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, what'd you think of this one?
I thought Jeff Hardy was phenomenal in this match.
Yeah, he was great.
His selling, his bumping, flying around. Sheamus is the perfect guy to throw him around and beat the shit out of him. And I thought it was a really good match that was, you know, badly hurt by being in the COVID era, you know, with, like, a lot of matches have been. But yeah, right up there. I mean, I think I liked it. I liked it better than the why am I blanking? The Drew McIntyre Lashley match.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And to me, those were probably the two best matches on the show. If we're throwing out the main event, you know, the main event was the best thing on the show, but you know, we had the whole conversation about it. But yeah, this was a really good match, and I thought Jeff Hardy in particular really stood out.
And then we had Bayley, Sasha Banks. They retained their Raw women or the women's titles, defeating Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Iconics. I thought this was good. I thought this was a decent enough match. The Iconics are still fucking terrible, but I thought Bayley and Sasha, I like the team a lot. I think they're pretty solid, and Bliss and Cross were pretty good. The Iconics, obviously, like I said, they exist and they're there. But yeah, I thought this was like fine. It didn't overstay its welcome. 8 minutes in and out. It wasn't great. Not a match that I would say go out of your way to watch, but I didn't think it was terrible on any level.
Decent little opener. But what I want to talk about is, do you know what this company has the nerve? Do you know what they're doing with Sasha Banks and Bayley? Because I know you kind of check out. You might.
I know they're on NXT right now, right?
They are doing the thing where they go everywhere and defend the titles, and it's like, why didn't you do this originally to establish the fucking titles?
When they said they were going to do that too. And that's why Sasha and Bayley were so pissed off, because they were told, hey, you're going to go all over the place and defend these titles. And then they said, actually, no, we're going to give it to the Iconics because they're funny. And then now we're back to it. Now that the titles don't mean a goddamn thing anymore, now we're there. So.
Exactly. Now no one cares about the titles. And it's unfortunate because they're working really hard. But it's like, this is what they should have done way back when they won them originally, and now they're doing it, in the COVID era where you can't even do it properly. So it just makes you sick, I didn't even intend to bury them this week. It's like I can't. You talk about WWE and you just can't. You can't come away with it. Every week on the Thursday TV reviews, I watch NXT and it's always like fairly decent. The last couple of weeks have been weird, but it's like I don't intend. And then by the end of, if you listen to me review NXT, I start off fine, and by the end of it, I'm fucking disgusted, and I cannot wait to just stop the show and go fucking, punch a heavy bag or eat some lunch or something, because it's like it disgusts me the more I talk about this company. It's just so not for me that it's just the frustration just ends up boiling over. Exactly what's happening here. And this wasn't all that bad of a show, to be completely honest.
It was pretty good. There was just the absurdity in between the stuff that was good was definitely next level. You did not watch the pre-show, right?
I did not watch the pre-show.
So Apollo Crews defeated Andrade to retain his U.S. title. So that was that. X out. Thank God we're done with WWE. Okay, let's talk about New Japan, baby. New Japan Cup. What have you thought?
Oh, well, for $5, you can know everything I thought about the first two shows. They want to hear you, Rich. All of the paying customers are well aware of my thoughts.
Yeah, right.
I won't listen. Yeah, I won't do my expanded thoughts, but we don't know what you thought of anything. So, have you seen both nights, or are you working with one night here?
I've seen both nights. I skipped the tag matches on the nights, though. I just went right to the New Japan Cup matches, but I have seen all the New Japan Cup matches, and so far I'll say thumbs up. I've really enjoyed some of the stuff. There has been some real shitty matches. Oh, there have been some shitty matches, but I think that the good is well outweighed the bad so far in these two nights, and I think New Japan is doing a really good job of the empty arena. They're lighting it pretty well. The sound is pretty good. It feels yes, it's kind of weird. Yes, it still kind of sucks that there's no fans there, but I think I put them in the upper echelon for sure of empty arenas. It's bright. There's they're filling space with light boxes and filling the space with video boards and that sort of stuff. So that helps a lot as well. And the work. I mean, New Japan is just their workers are so good at sort of emoting and making noise and filling in those little gaps that I miss the fans, but I feel like they're doing a pretty goddamn good job of empty arena. But I am definitely anxious for them to get to Sakajo Hall and get some fans in the arena for sure. But let's
go
ahead. Yeah, what are your thoughts overall on their live event?
I haven't been a fan of their empty arena. I think it's lower tier in terms of lining up. It feels just as sterile to me as Noah. So I can't wait for it to finish. So I don't. They really need they need fans. They need either wrestlers or hangers on or somebody at ringside to give a little atmosphere, because I think several of the matches have been hurt by the atmosphere, and several good matches that ended up being good matches anyway have been hurt by the dry atmosphere. So it hasn't been quite as bad as Noah's the worst.
I was going to say, can you please don't Noah makes no attempt to make it seem like you're not at a fucking funeral home while you're watching these shows. So,
but here's the thing though, Noah's also doing 35-minute matches,
right?
So if these 8-man tags were going fucking a half hour, I think it would be the same as Noah. But what New Japan has done well is they've kept the match lengths very smart. Both shows, the first two matches are 8 or 9 minutes, and then the tag match goes like 12 minutes. The semi-main event gets 15 minutes, and the main event gets 20. That's perfect. So the length of the matches has been good. So that would be the qualifier I would put on it. The atmosphere itself, though, struggles. But I really feel like if the matches were going the same length as Noah, you'd see the same flaws.
I mean, potentially, yeah. That's definitely. Night one, the Togi Makabe Yota Tsuji match, kind of surprising how good that was. I thought Togi Makabe really, you could tell Togi Makabe thinks that Tsuji's is got something, that he believes in him, that he thinks he's a good hand, he's a good kid or whatever, because Togi was out here. He's taking bumps. He's bumping all over that. Either Togi Makabe really missed wrestling or he thinks Yota Tsuji's got something. But I was shocked to see. I thought this would be 2 minutes in and out, King Kong knee drop, going backstage. But Togi, he was busted his ass in this match. I'll give him that for sure.
I got caught up with the original Death Dealer here. Sorry. That match was shockingly good. And I really liked the finish where Tsuji slaps him in the face, and then Makabe just lariats his head off and then gives him a German suplex. Enough of this shit. I'm just putting this geek away. Yeah. It was a good structure of match, good solid stuff. Yeah, I like that Makabe gave Tsuji
some offense to kind of establish that, yeah, he's a young lion, but he's an up-and-coming young lion. He's got his stuff together, but no, at the end of the day, I'm just going to fucking kill you and beat you. So then we had Toru Yano and Jado, which, Joe, I know you love Jado. Jado's your guy. This man never, ever, ever, ever needs to get in a wrestling ring ever again. He
Wait
looks
a
like...
second.
No.
When has Jado been my guy?
You love his Noah booking. You were a big fan of Jado.
Anyway, continue.
He looked like, we always laugh about Dory Funk and those sort of guys that look like they're just going to like burst into pieces at any point. Like they're going to take a bump and their body will just cease to be a whole being and it will just like crumble into dust or whatever. Jado looked like what the hell? This guy can't even walk anymore. What the hell happened to Jado?
I mean, we saw it. I mean, it wasn't like he was,
he wasn't bouncing over the ring. He wasn't fucking, Tiger Mask, but good God.
He's just, he's an emergency fill-in. He doesn't want to, he's in pain.
I know he's in pain. I was in pain watching him. I took ibuprofen after watching this match.
Listen, Yujiro basically worked the match. I mean, can we be honest here? I mean, Yujiro, with his 2 or 3 run-ins, did all of Jado's work for him. Because Jado can't move. So
I mean, he's 51. Like, why is his body this shot?
Well, I mean,
he looks like he needs a cane. Like, are we sure he doesn't need a cane like in his normal life? Like, I had to wonder, like, did we really need Jado in there? We had nobody else that we could bring. Nobody else could wrestle.
So what? I don't care. 30 years this biz. That's all I have to say.
What the back had something fun on it too, but I forget what it said. But,
30 years this biz.
No, that. Oh no! Oh right, you're right. Because the front said,
"So right. What? I don't care."
Yeah, so what? I don't care. 30 years this biz.
So what? Comma, I don't care.
Yeah.
And back said 30 years this biz. I
hope they sell that one. Would you buy that if they sold? I know you're not a wrestling shirt guy, but I feel like you'd buy that one. Sure.
Listen, Patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling, $5 tier. I review the shows every day, and I stated behind the paywall I would wear that shirt.
Absolutely.
And I haven't.
See, you are a Jado guy. See, you're a Jado guy. It's all right.
I haven't worn a wrestling shirt since ECFNW in 1996. To the arena, and I was so self-conscious about wrestling shirts back. I would take it off after the show and put on a different shirt.
Oh, you lame ass. Oh, you're so lame.
I'm weird about wrestling shirts. It's
you
never
didn't want
been
like a girl to see you and you had to explain why you're wearing an ECFNW shirt. Yeah.
That's exactly
You don't want a girl to explain why you have the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu on your shirt. So
yeah, it ain't for everyone, like written on the back. Like I don't want to explain that. Like if we stop somewhere to get something to eat, and I want to hit on the waitress or something, I can't. That's embarrassing, So I would take it off. I would only wear the shirt specifically. I think I have an ROH hoodie too, but there's a story behind that one. I didn't buy the ROH hoodie because I wanted the ROH hoodie. I bought the ROH hoodie because it was chilly in New York City that night, and I wanted something to wear home. So I bought it at the show. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I wore it home and then never wore it again. But,
it's probably a nice hoodie. I'll take it if you don't need to.
Yeah, it was like all they had left was like medium. I remember it was very uncomfortable. Like it was super tight.
That's not gonna work. Then never mind.
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
Like, nothing but medium. And the guys were like, "Oh, what do you want?" It's the end of the show. It was like it was some Age of the Fall match, and I'm like, I'm not watching this. Jimmy Jacobs. So I went and bought the hoodie. And to wear home, and I never wore it again. But I think I don't have the ECW shirt anymore, but I think I have the ROH hoodie.
I used to use Jimmy Jacobs segments as time to go to the merch table as well, pick up some Noah DVDs and stuff. So.
Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs.
I'd see him walk through the curtain. I go, okay, all right. I might need anything. I'll be up. Anybody want something to drink? Some pizza. I'll be right back. So.
Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs versus BJ Whitmer equaled pizza time.
Right.
That's what that equaled. So, there's people who think that was the best feud in Ring of Honor history, BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs. Just, I don't know, man. I was going to Ring of Honor shows for something entirely different than Jimmy Jacobs putting a spike into BJ Whitmer's forehead. That's not what I wanted to see when I went to Ring of Honor. I would have been going to CZW shows if I wanted that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't what I understand variety. I wasn't.
Yeah. It held its place on the card, but yeah, not for me. Not what I really wanted to see.
It's not what I wanted. Yeah, not what I wanted. Anyway.
Hiromu and Hanma. So this is an interesting match. So I watched the tag match. Do we really need to talk about it? You probably talked about it behind the paywall. So whatever. We're just going to go to New Japan Cup matches. Hiromu and Hanma. This went 18 minutes, 45 seconds. Hiromu gets the win over Hanma. I know that you and I have, I think, a little bit of different takes on this because I thought this was really good. I thought this was the best Hanma has looked in maybe 5 years. Like, honestly, it been that long since Hanma really felt like he was healthy enough to have a match like this. No, was it Hanma of 2013? Of course not. He's nowhere near that level yet, and I don't think he can get to that level. But I thought all things considered, pretty good stuff, and I thought Hiromu worked well with Hanma. There was a few spots that were just like, oh dear God, what is Hanma doing? Like, there was one time where Hiromu, drop kicks him, and Hanma's neck falls into the guardrail, and I'm like, whoa, dude, like, what are you doing? And then he takes, the Death Valley driver on the apron, and that was sick too. But I thought Hanma worked his ass off. No, was it like a tremendous, incredible match? But it's not to that level. But I thought this was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. All 18 minutes went by pretty quick, and I was into the story of Hanma. Just goddamn, he's going to hit a Kokeshi, and he's going to win this thing. And of course, he didn't. He missed all the Kokeshis, but still, I thought this was really good work by both guys. But you have a slightly different take on it, correct?
I went 4 stars on it.
Oh, then okay. you just thought it was sad to see.
No, I thought, look, the first 75% of the match, Hanma looked atrocious. I mean, it was Hiromu working down to Hanma's level, waiting around forever for Hanma to complete his spots and working drilling the speed down to a speed that Hanma could handle. But the closing stretch was incredible, because it was like Hanma channeling, he's never going to have that same athleticism or range of motion, or he moves in such a stiff, weird way. But they managed to put together a compelling final quarter of the match. But I can't go any higher. I mean, it's probably a charitable 4, but I can't go any higher than that, because the first half of the match was just, it was a glaring example of one wrestler working down to the level of another. So, but yeah, this was easily the best post broken neck Hanma match for sure.
Yeah, and this might be the best it ever gets for him as well. It may have been a combination of like that entire time off and an opponent that he was really excited about, because I can't imagine ever seeing Hanma be able to get to this level ever again. And he's never going to be in a position to have a match like this really ever again. And that's probably why he stepped up in this as well, because he's never going to be in a normal G1. He's of course not going to be there in this tournament. If it didn't go the way it was going to go, he'd probably, you know what I mean? Like, so it probably is the last time we're going to see Hanma in a match like this. So it was cool to go out like that. And yeah, it was nice to at least see that he is still capable of having, competent matches after, like, honestly, it felt like, towards the end of last year, and I think I even wrote in the ebook that, like, it might just be time for him to just, like, or for New Japan to just be like, dude, it's probably over. Like, it's done, because he looked really, really bad. He looked like Jado bad for a while there, but this, good effort here by him. So good to see him at least semi-healthy. And then the main event fucking rocked. Ishii versus El Desperado. How great was this match, Joe? 20 minutes, back and forth. Ishii just being a badass. Desperado telling Ishii, I'm taller than you, by the way. Ishii going, you motherfucker, and just headbutting him. Just, oh my God. Just how great was this match between these two guys? Desperado, we always say that he's a guy who I don't think gets enough love for how good he is. He was tremendous in this match. And Tomohiro motherfucking Ishii, it's just like, what do you say anymore? Anybody, any opponent, this dude can have a great, like, literally any wrestler in the world, I feel like this guy could have like a 3.5-star minimum match with.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they told a great story, and it was typical Ishii. It was just, the guy he rolls out of bed and has these great matches. And Despy, I think, is very underrated, on a larger scale. And there was that great spot where, I'm convinced it was a botch where Ishii went for a sit-out powerbomb and lost Despy, but was thinking on his feet and immediately went and sold the knee and rolled around. But some
fuck
people
that.
say,
They should have stopped it and had Ishii redo it. So,
yeah, some people say that was a planned spot. I'm watching the Starks debut here with the sound off. They gave him a video package.
Oh, we got a video pack. Oh, fancy pants there.
They didn't just bring him out like, cold. Like, here's, like, obviously I can't hear what anybody's saying. But, yeah, anyway. But, yeah, very good match. I think that, I just saw your text. I'm crying. Oh, my God. No way.
I knew it would break the show, but I couldn't wait, so.
Oh, shit. I gotta
continue. You can end.
That's, we could never say that, but like, oh my God, that's funny. No one would care or get it, but my God, that's hilarious. No, it's a fucking good match. I don't know. $5. You want to hear my expanded thought?
Right, absolutely. That's fine. All right, let's go to night 2 here real quick. Gabriel Kidd, Taiji Ishimori. Good little match. Not anything tremendous. There was a lot better matches on this night 2, but I thought Gabriel Kidd looked good. I think he acclimated himself pretty well. Taiji Ishimori kind of chilled on this one. I think maybe he's got some, stuff. He's definitely got stuff left in the holster for the rest of this tournament. But ultimately, I thought a pretty decent match. I mean, Kidd was able to get a few spots here and there. But ultimately, I enjoyed it. What'd you think of Kidd and Ishimori?
Average match. They didn't go out there and try to do too much. They did some mat wrestling to start. And then, it was your perfunctory opener with the young lion who was essentially, getting squashed. So I didn't think much of it. I think I went like 2.5 or something.
And then, we got to talk about this, Joe. Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus my big, beefy boy, Yuya Uemura. Can we talk about Yuya Uemura's body?
You can talk about it. Go ahead, my man. I know you want to go off, so go off.
Oh, my God. This dude. And you always... Okay. So we have discovered that I am a body guy, right?
Listen, I'm glad you've come to terms with the fact that you're a body guy.
But no, hold on a minute. I'm not a body guy.
Yes,
I'm an effort guy, Joe.
Explain.
Taiji Ishimori, good body, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Good. I like a guy that will build his body. I like a guy that will Yuya Uemura took this shutdown, took COVID, and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat fucking beef. I'm going to work out, and I'm going to come back looking like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm an effort guy. I'm also a body guy. That is true. I am a body guy. But
yeah,
I do like Taiji Ishimori's abs. Those are incredible abs. But
yeah,
Gabriel Kidd's got a nice little body, too. So
yeah.
But Uemura, and we said this years ago. We talked about it. I think every time we talk about him, we sound like we're old, like, baseball scouts. With Yuya Uemura, we're always this way with the young lions, which I like about him. We're like, good face, good forehead. He's got like and Uemura, we always said that he had like a look, like he's just a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the first time we saw this guy, I think we saw him outside of the ring once, even before he got in the ring, and we said, that guy, there's something about that dude's face that dude is gonna, like, he looks old school. He kind of looks like a 1987 New Japan guy. He looks like a badass. He looks like he might shoot on you if he really wants to. Like, he had the look. It was all there. And now we're seeing it come together a little bit more, where he's adding weight. He's getting a little bit older. In this match, he had a little bit of an edge to him. He had a little bit of an attitude to him. And I am all in on it, man. I am buying Uemura stock as much as I possibly can right now.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a star.
He's going to be great, right? There's no way he's not.
He's going to be a star. And, it's... Some of these young lions, you just know they're going to be they're going to make it. And they're going to be stars. You saw it in Jay White towards the end, and this guy's going to be a star. I completely agree. And this match was awesome, and I love how they set it up the night before with the whiskey bottle to the back of the head.
Yeah,
at the end of the tag match, just to add a little heat to it. It's just those little details. That's what I've missed about New Japan, the little booking details that they're so good at that puts them on a different level than everybody. Well, AEW is right there too, I think, with the booking detail. But it's like little things like that. Like, other promotions might not even bother with that. Why? For a stupid match the next night with a young lion who's going to lose. They added heat to it. And then Uemura comes out in the singles match, and he goes right after Kanemaru before the belt. And they're playing off what happened the night before. And then they had an awesome match. And Uemura had that hot stretch there where he got all those near falls. On the small package, and he thwarted the whiskey spot, and then the small package and the roll up, and then the, and then Kanemaru cuts him off with a beautiful drop kick, and he hits him with a reverse DDT, but they give Uemura a kick out spot, and then he hits him with the deep impact and puts him away. So he actually got a lot of booking respect in the match layout.
Absolutely.
As
well. That's the thing I was going to say. We talked about in the open, in night one, Togi Makabe and Yota Tsuji. Yeah, I'll throw this kid a few bones, let him hit me with a few moves or whatever. Yeah, that's one thing. This was like actual in-ring booking respect for Uemura right here, where he was given a spotlight. He was given hope spots. There was a real chance. You're watching this going, holy shit, is this guy going to upset him? I'm so glad he didn't. Like, he doesn't need to. And I'll argue that till the end of the day is that I would rather these guys lose than win, random upsets, early into their career. Let's build that up. Let's let him sort of slowly, work his way up the ladder or whatever, just like we say with Jungle Boy all the time and in AEW and whatnot. But you're absolutely right. Like there was respect given to Uemura. You could tell that they think that this guy's the shit too.
Yep. Yeah, no, they know it. Yeah, no doubt about it. They know it. So he was he's got it. He's got that thing, that thing that Conan, he says in Mexico they call it, have it. You can't explain what it is, but you just have it.
Yeah, good face, good walk, that, good presence,
tangible charisma.
Yeah, you just can't. You don't know exactly what it is, but you know it when you see it. And we saw it with this guy when he was sitting outside the ring, getting ready to come in before he'd even wrestled. And the first time we saw him wrestle, we said it, and I'm still saying it. So yeah, circle that name, remember that name. He's not really a secret anymore, but yeah, this was really, really good stuff by him. And then we had again, I didn't watch the tag match, but I'm sure you touched on it on Patreon, patreon.com/voicesofwrestling, by the way, for the New Japan Cup audio. Then we'll go to, I think honestly, I can't say definitively it is my favorite empty arena match yet of the last 2-3 months or whatever, but it's certainly fucking up there. Yuji Nagata, Minoru Suzuki, 20 minutes, 35 seconds. You put it, I think you summed it up perfectly on Twitter. There's two ways to do good empty arena matches that we've seen so far. You either go out there and it's all action, it's hot, it's 10 to 15 minutes, boom, 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 stuff's happening at all times, or you go out there and you just beat the living shit out of your opponent, and he beats the living shit out of you, and that's what Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki did. These dudes just said, let's just fucking lay it in for 20 minutes and beat the hell out of each other, and God, it ruled.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the two different paths you could take, and they took one. And best match of the tournament so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think far and away. Like I've liked some of the other stuff, but I thought it was a little bit better than Ishin Desperado. I liked it better than Hiromu and Hanma, and yeah, I think it's like I said, it's in the upper echelon of all empty arena matches I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, it's definitely number one so far 2 nights through. But that card on Monday though is going to have some matches I think that are going to challenge.
Yeah, it might not last long, but goddamn. Were you? Did you join me and just start screaming "Blue Justice" as Yuji Nagata pulls off the upset? I love the way they did the finish too. It's so cool that he just catches him. You know what I mean? Like Minoru Suzuki lets his guard down for just a second. Yuji Nagata hits the backdrop and pins him, and the crowd. Oh my god! I said the crowd. The announcers go nuts. Minoru Suzuki's just stunned. Yuji Nagata is just what a cool moment. I'm glad they did this. I'm so glad we're getting Okada and Nagata in the next round. I think it's a way better matchup too. And Nagata hasn't had a big win like this in quite a while, so I appreciate that too. So
I think Nagata could win
the whole thing. New Japan Cup?
No, the match.
I'm with you. You know what? Fuck it. Blue Justice, New Japan Cup, litter. Let's do it. Come on.
You know what? It wouldn't be the worst idea.
It's not.
To have someone else win that they weren't planning on winning, because they're going to draw the 3,000 fans or whatever. Either
right.
way.
You're going to fill it halfway. Yeah, honestly, and I mean this not as a complete a joke at all. Like I even have it in my notes here of like, given that we know that the Osaka Joe Hall, that's going to sell out in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be... Do you do an off-the-wall match that you would never do before, that you're not really protecting in any way, shape, or form? I mean, Nagata and Naito, you're never going to go back to that for anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to do what we're talking about.
No, but it'd be awesome.
It's whoever was planned on winning, unless they're not there, unless it was Will Ospreay or something, is going to win. But I really feel like you can get away with almost any match because people are just going to be dying to go to a show. So, and you only need to sell 3,000 tickets. So, I always think with the business cap first, and that annoys some people who listen, but that's always going to be the first way that I think. It's, and if I'm in the room, I seriously consider someone like Nagata or whoever, where, it's not, you're not burning off anything versus Naito that really matters. So I would definitely consider it, but they're not going to do that. How stupid would it be? I mean, I don't think they're going to do Okada, but how dumb would that be? It would make no sense.
Exactly. Right. And like people do get upset when we say that, but like, yeah, you got to think business wise. You got to think about protecting your big matchups, making those big matchups important. You know, when you have a venue that's already booked, like you don't necessarily need to give or already sold or whatever. You don't necessarily have to give people, you know, a top tier match or whatever. I think they probably maybe still will. I don't know. I have no idea what the exact plan is, but you know, some off the wall pick isn't the worst idea ever. You know, I wouldn't hate it if like, you know, Ishii or whatever, if they say, hey, fuck it, you know, but I think that's one you can maybe protect a little bit later. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I hope Nagata does beat Okada and really has kind of a hope run here throughout the tournament because that would add some intrigue to it, you know, a little bit. And again, it's like probably the last opportunity for Yuji Nagata to have one of these sort of, you know, runs as well because I don't know how many more G1s he's going to be in or how many other, you know, tournaments he's going to be in. So that'd be cool to see that. And then the final match on night 2, Okada versus Gato, 15 minutes. It's one of these. I enjoyed the match, but like I didn't think it was good. You know what I mean? Like I had fun watching it, but I'm kind of just glad it's over, and I'm probably never going to think about it ever again. Type thing.
I mean, you know, it was a million times better than the Jado match.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, Jado looked like Mae Young. Is that going too far?
No, I compared it to Dory Funk. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was like that. No, he was like, you know, he was like 92-year-old Mae Young in the WWE. No, absolutely, he couldn't do anything.
Cody and Ricky Starks just fucking crushed it on Dynamite.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, good for them.
Oh my God, it was so good. I can't believe how good this match was. I can't wait to watch it with the sound. Yeah, no, but the Okada Gato was I mean, it was gimmick heavy. Just it seems like they're going to do one of those a night. I have a feeling Taguchi Sonata is going to be the match on the next night with Paradise Locks and Taguchi going, you know, doing asshole spots. But yeah, I mean, it was mildly amusing for the first few minutes, and then Gato with the long heat, you know, with the table and everything else, and it was inoffensive. Jado was offensively bad. This match was just, you know, it had good moments. I liked how Okada, when he finally put him away, didn't even need the Rainmaker. He just put him in the Cobra Clutch.
Yeah.
And choked him out and had that smirk on his face.
That's such a little subtle thing. Like you said it again. There's these little things that they do that are just that put them above, and that's the reason why we love them and we talk about them on the show, and why it's not just the checks from Kadani. Those are nice, obviously, those are great, but like little stuff like that where Okada doesn't need the Rainmaker to beat Gato. The Kanemaru, he could have just hit anybody with the whiskey bottle, but no, he hit the guy that he's going to face the next night. And this is simple shit. Like, this is day one pro wrestling booking. Like, anybody can come up with this shit, but so few people do it. It's so simple and so easy, but sometimes that's the best plan. The best thing to do is just do this simple thing, and this makes all the sense in the world that Okada would say, fuck this guy. I'm not going to hit him with a Rainmaker. I don't need to waste my time with my finishing move against this guy. I'll just tap him out with the Cobra Clutch. Or, Kanemaru was saying, you know, I could just swing this bottle at anybody, but you know what? I'm going to hit the guy I'm going to face tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a little bit of an edge on him. Like, that little stuff is so important, and so few companies do it at all, and it pains me that they don't.
Yeah, well, you said it all. You know, and it's like I talked about this behind the paywall, and I don't want to go long on it now, but it's like now the next time he uses the Cobra Clutch in a match, people are going to buy into it.
Right, and it does that too. It's twofold.
Yeah. So, and I like that Makabe and Okada didn't have to use their best shit to beat guys that are several levels below them. You know, Makabe didn't need the King Kong knee drop.
He just fucking took his head off and pinned him. Said, I'm not going to get on the top rope for you. Like, you're not worth it. You know, my knees hurts. I'm not going to hit you with the knee. I'm just going to hit you with the lariat. Boom.
And he did the German. He beat him with a German. But
that's right. Yeah. Right.
He didn't do this. He didn't need the spider German, and he didn't go through his whole thing. He didn't do the King Kong knee drop. No, he beat him up and pinned him with something else. And Okada, the same thing. And I think that's something that AEW does really well, establishing multiple finishers for all of their guys. And I think that's something that New Japan kind of got away from for a while, you know? And it's good to see that in the first two nights back, we've got two guys who, you know, are pushed to some degree. Makabe's still treated with respect in the booking, and Okada's obviously a top guy, winning matches with something other than their finishers. So it's like, New Japan it was starting to get to where it's like you're waiting around, and I hate that. I don't like that, you know. So I thought the finish and the start of the Gato Okada match, you know, it was very gimmicky, but I like the finish and I like how it started off. So it was fine. I think I went like 2 3/4 or something.
And that's it for.
But the real.
Sorry.
I mean, in reality, the semi was so good that's really your like main event, so to speak, in terms of, the best match on the show and all that. So it's like you didn't even get robbed by the main event being what it was, because you had that Nagata match that was so incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. You knew going in that, hey, this thing's probably, it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be whatever. It just has to be fine, and it's going to be an okay show no matter what. So yeah, it was good stuff there. So
what about the idea of Okada just beating Gato in like a minute because there's no fans and it doesn't matter? I mean, that would have worked too. That's a situation where you can just do a super quick main event, because you're not offending any paying customers in that scenario. So,
and really when you break down the match, like a lot of the back, I will say it probably did go a little bit longer than it needed to in some ways, but the first 5 minutes is Gato just fucking around and laying on the mat and playing around with his arm and trying to poke him in the
stuff with the weapon.
Like, yeah, right. So they padded the match with that, but I'm with you that like once that stuff stopped, you probably could have went home in like 2 minutes after that, but they kind of hung around a little bit longer than they probably needed to. So
yeah, Okada knew he had the knucks, because the idea is that he knows him so well, but then he had the lead pipe or whatever, right? So that was kind of cool, but then the heat spot was probably a little too long, and because there's no fans, you could have sped that up, and no one watching like on New Japan World's going to be upset because you got the Nagata Suzuki match, which fucking ruled. So I wish like you'd think a little more outside the box with these no fan shows, and you could have really done, like a 2-minute main event there.
So that is it for the first two New Japan Cup shows. They come back on Monday with that show that we keep talking about, the one to circle here. Tanahashi versus Taichi, Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Taguchi Sanada, and Sho versus Shingo. I mean, that's a show. That is the one for sure to watch. Tuesday, June 23rd, not so much. Tenzan Yoshihashi, Yobushi, Kojima Evil, Goto, Yujiro. So that might be one to skip if you want. Then we get into the second round already by Wednesday. So pretty cool stuff going on, and we're getting there. New Japan Cup we're coming through. We're gonna enter our second week here in a bit. Second round, and next week we're cruising along, and Osaka Joe Hall's not that far away, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, so let's. Only about an hour left on the show here, so we'll quickly touch on some of these other topics. Anything else on the Evolve before we talk about this Pro Wrestling Noah thing I wanted to touch on? Anything new that we've learned about Evolve or anything new? Because last week, I'm trying to remember what we knew as of last week, or what we revealed last week. I think you had posted the... Had you posted the Patreon post yet? Okay. So we do need to catch people up then, so...
Last week we knew nothing. We just knew the speculation that we were getting from people inside.
Got it. Okay. Just the Observer is all we knew, where it said that it doesn't look good for Evolve or whatever. So,
and stuff we heard from people, but there's been some clarifications. I mean, we got the first on-record comments from Gabe Sapolsky behind the paywall on the $5 tier. I put that up a few nights ago, and basically, I'll paraphrase. Basically what he said was they're not running shows for now. And I think for now was the key verbiage there. And then he also went on to tell us that anyone who wants a release from their contract is being granted one. I mean, obviously that's the right thing to do, because if you're not running shows, you can't hold people hostage. It's not right. So you let them go, and you let them go out to the free agent market and see if they can do something. Looks like JD Drake is one of the guys that may have taken them up on that just based on some of his tweets. And then there's other people under contract like Leon Ruff, who's been working a lot at WWE in enhancement roles, and Josh Briggs, I believe, is under contract. Kurt Stallion is another one. So there's a number of guys they have under contract, but if they want out, they're going to let them out. So that's straight from Gabe, and our subscribers knew that several days ago, and it's old news to them. But then David Bixenspan put out a good piece on Forbes, which had even more additional details. And he had pointed this out to us on Twitter as well, that basically the bankruptcy rumors are easily debunked, because that's all public information.
Right, you'd be able to find it.
Yeah, and there's no bankruptcy filing. And Bix also had the details from the private Facebook group, the private Facebook Evolve group. There was a private post put up there by Gabe basically telling the talent what he told us, that they're not running shows. And then there was, because we saw that letter too. We were, someone sent that us to us anonymously, that Facebook post that was sent to talent. And, it had other minor details in there, like how to stay in touch and basically that they're shutting down their private Facebook group because there's no need because they're not going to be running shows. But again, there was kind of ambiguous verbiage there because he said something to the effect in the letter of, this is not the end of the road. It's a fork in the road and blah, blah, blah. They're clearly leaving open the possibility that if whatever they have cooking, and there's clearly something cooking, if whatever they have cooking doesn't work out, they're leaving open the possibility of returning, because otherwise you would just release everyone from their contracts. You wouldn't offer to release them if they're asking for it. You'd simply release them, right? And you wouldn't be using this ambiguous verbiage. It seems like there's some kind of plan in place or some kind of offer. No one knows what it is. Everyone's being tight-lipped. But they're sort of protecting themselves against it if it doesn't happen and leaving open the possibility of coming back down the road at some point. Probably not for a very long time, though. Bix also did a lot of good work in revealing that a lot of the WWN things have been split into separate LLCs. And the timing of all of those splits into separate LLCs coincide with all of their advancements in their relationship with WWE. In other words, when it became known that they were working as a feeder, they split the company into multiple LLCs. When they started using WWE talent, they once again, like the training school is a different LLC.
World Wrestling Training Academy LLC was established earlier this month. So that's their training academy with the same address as the WWN Training Center in Newport Richey, Florida, as well. So yeah, it's weird in that sense. Well, maybe not. It's maybe not weird. It actually might make sense here shortly, but weird now without knowing exactly all the details.
Well, think about it. Why would you do that? So they have like 3 or 4 different LLCs splitting up the different parts of the company. It's because this way you can, sell off part of it, but retain the training school or retain. So it seems to be setting the stage for something, or at least preparing or protecting, or something's happening. Plus that money they owe to the state of New Jersey. Like it's there's a lot involved here. I would recommend reading the piece. It's on Forbes.com, David Bixenspan, search it, Evolve. You'll find it very easily. It goes into very good.
The headline, real quick for people, is WWE feeder promotion Evolve is closing its Facebook group. Another sign it may fold is the name of the article. So, but again, David Bixenspan, Forbes, Evolve. You'll be able to find it pretty quickly, I think. So
we know a lot more now. We know that they're not going to run shows for the foreseeable future to the point where they're letting their talent go if they so choose, and we know that there's something going on behind the scenes because they're splitting into all these different LLCs, but. Like we talked about last week, though, in terms of you can't get, the quotes we got out of Gabe is all we're going to get. I mean, he's not going to give us any more. And other sources have talked to the WWE side, and they're not confirming or denying anything in the direction of the rumors that they're buying the company. We had it speculated to us that Evolve has a similar deal that Progress and WXW have, and that WWE has the right to come in and just buy the company at any time. And that is possibly, being exercised, and we're just waiting for the paperwork and the legalities to clear. And maybe that's why no one's talking, but that's all speculation at this point. So this could be the end of Evolve. It's definitely the end of Evolve for the foreseeable future. And the door has been left cracked open for an eventual return at some point way down the line. But I get the sense, and this is just my opinion, that in an ideal world, they're going to sell this off to someone. I think that's the end game here. But if they can, or if the deal doesn't go through, or whatever the case, they're not completely shutting the door and making an announcement that they're folding.
Right. Yeah. I think the 3 company, and I'm glad that Bix did the research and did the work on that, because that adds a lot of insight there too. Because essentially, for people who don't know, there's 3 companies. There's WWN Inc., which is essentially what World Wrestling Network Inc. was, but now it's a new company. There's another company called Evolve Wrestling Inc., which is its own company, and then the World Wrestling Training Academy LLC that we talked about as well. So it is very possible that you could sell 2 of those 3, 1 of those 3. You know what I mean? Like Evolve Wrestling can be sold. But that technically wasn't formed until October 2018 or whatever. That is sort of the relationship with WWE and Evolve, is like that company is formed among that relationship. And then the old WWN Inc. is somewhat tied to the original World Wrestling Network Inc. or whatever. So you just wonder what asset is with what. But I do find it funny that the World Wrestling Training Academy is its own thing right now. I think that's an important note there, because I feel like that might be protected more than anything, because they can still train guys and keep that alive, and maybe sell off those other two entities, or just the Evolve entity, or just the WWN entity, or whatever. But yeah, the three split companies leads me to believe that something is getting retained and the other parts are at least getting sold off or liquidated or something going on with that.
Yeah, for sure. Because the selling off of the merchandise and everything. So this is some sort of goodbye. It's goodbye for now or goodbye for good, but it's one or the other.
So that is Evolve. That's what we know right now as of this week and this show. But let's do our final topic of the day here, Joe. I just want to, it's kind of be a loose topic here, me more sort of asking you a question and kind of picking your brain here a little bit. But 20 years ago yesterday, Pro Wrestling Noah was officially founded. It was June 16th, 2000. I was not following the Japanese wrestling scene at this time. I was kind of somewhat aware of what was going on, but I was pretty much only American wrestling at this point, only WCW, only WWF, only ECW. So I really have no context for this, but I was kind of curious, where were you at? What was your follow of the Japanese wrestling scene at this time, 20 years ago yesterday, when Pro Wrestling Noah was officially forming, and most of the roster is leaving All Japan, other than Kawada and a few other guys, they're leaving to form their own company. Were you following at the time, and if so, like what was kind of the conversation around this new thing, Pro Wrestling Noah?
Well, there was obviously no Twitter, and internet was not what it is today. I mean, there were message boards and things like that, but you didn't really have the instantaneous reaction the way you do now to every major news story. I mean, I don't think I found out until I got the Observer, that week, for example, where it's like, those are the days where you really learned the news of the week, when the Observer hit your mailbox. And that's like hard to fathom now, right? Because you learn the news as it happens in real time all week long. And then if like the Observer just recaps or fills in blanks or gives you more details. Back then, you didn't know shit until the Observer came. And like a story like this, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? It's like, the Observer was breaking the news for you, and you'd be annoyed. Like, I remember I'd be annoyed. Like, it would usually come on a Thursday, and some weeks where it like didn't show up on Thursday, if it didn't come by Friday, I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to get it. I hated those weeks where I didn't get it until Monday. It was like the longest wait ever, and it's like, that was your news source, So anyway, this was one of those stories in the days where you don't learn anything until you read it in the Observer. And so in terms of your question, what was the conversation like? It's hard to say, because the conversation was just you and the select group of friends you might have had who cared or followed it, And at the time, I think, the thought process, at least from me, and I think from most, was that, well, Misawa got everybody. So this new thing is going to be the good thing. And All Japan is fucked because they don't have anyone except Kawada, So it's like, that was my thought process. And with the 2 or 3 people I knew at the time who watched tapes and stuff, that was their thought process, was this new thing is obviously going to be the thing that we need to pay attention to now. And All Japan is going to die. That didn't happen. They readjusted and brought in that whole new crew, and it's been rough going ever since, but that was kind of my feeling at the time.
Yeah, so it's a super interesting story for people that don't know a little bit about it. Again, there's plenty of places you can read about it and do some like digging. I know the June 19th, 2000 Wrestling Observer does a lot. I was going through and kind of reading that again because knowing the anniversary was coming up. But yeah, it's just interesting in the sense that for people that don't know, I mean, real quickly, I'll just kind of give you the cliff notes for those that don't know. So obviously, Misawa, Kobashi, Akiyama, your big time All Japan Pro Wrestling guys. Giant Baba dies. His wife is officially in charge then after that. It appears that nobody really likes her all that much, because when we say that everybody left, Joe, the office people left too. Like literally, other than Kawada, was it Fushi? I think, or Fuchi stayed around, and I think like 2 other people stayed around. Everybody, literally, the entire other company got up and left and said, "Fuck this, we're out," and followed Misawa over to Noah. The TV station that they were on, basically, that's still owned part of All Japan, said, "No, we're not going to show your shit anymore. We're done. We're going to show this new company once we're finally allowed to," and that's just nuts. I mean, that sort of, that happening to that level, I really do wonder what people expected at the time. Like you said, you thought you saw the names and went, okay, well, this new company is going to be good. But like, whenever does like a new company just pop up and you immediately say, oh, that's going to fucking work and that's going to be great? Like, especially in Japan, like that never happens. But nothing ever happens like this, where 99.9% of the talent roster and everybody in the office bails and joins this new company. It's risky though still, because it's still a new company and everyone's leaving this established company that's been around for years and years and years and years. I don't know. I just find it fascinating that everything that goes down here and just the ripple effects of this happening. Like you said, All Japan has really never recovered. June 16th, 2000. I don't think they've ever recovered. And Noah for a time became like the top Japanese company. No doubt. Like they were doing better than New Japan. They were doing, of course, better than All Japan. They became the top dog in the industry in terms of Japan wrestling, and that's just fascinating for a brand new company. And they were able to get there pretty quickly. Within a year or two, they were already knocking on the door. And then by 2003 to 2006, they're there, and they're probably the top company in Japan. But when did you first start kind of actively watching Noah? What was it, just through Ring of Honor tapes, or when or Ring of Honor merch table visits, or was it a little bit before that as well?
No, they were a hot tape immediately. I mean, that didn't take long at all. I mean, they came out with that hot Akiyama angle right out of the gate, and no, that Noah was a must-watch promotion right out of the gate. I mean, now the DVDs at the ROH merch tables, when they started putting out English language DVDs, that wasn't until like 2007-ish.
Right.
So you're talking 7 years in, and guys like Misawa were already on the downside, and physically breaking down by that point. And that was a kind of the next era of Noah. That wasn't like those first few years. It was a kind of a different era. But yeah, that the English language DVDs were great because, yeah, there was a slight delay, but it's like you didn't have to look for sketchy uploads. And plus, downloading things during those years with slow internet was a pain in the balls. And, when YouTube came around, you'd get the occasional match on YouTube, but you couldn't count on full shows. So those English language DVDs were huge because not only was it the full shows, it was in English, which was a novelty at the time. So you could have, Wally Yamaguchi and the other guy, explaining. Like, the commentary was horrendous. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's really bad, yeah. It was my first exposure to Noah, and it was not good. But
it's really bad. But, it was a novelty, and it was different, and it was like, whoa, Japanese wrestling with English commentary, this is fucking crazy. And it was just the ability to get a hold of the DVDs, and have the full shows. It was so much easier to buy them for $20 than search around and deal with, whether or not the Budokan, they were all the Budokan shows. So, they wouldn't always get uploaded, or your internet was too slow. So that was a major boon. But then a few years after that, obviously everything changed with, everything that we have today, where everything is like instant access. So, but yeah, at the time, the DVDs, I still have a stack of those fucking things. I mean, those things were great. The only thing was the Samoa Joe Misawa match. They had to cut that because of the deal with TNA. So, because Samoa Joe could not appear on any commercially released DVDs or whatever when he was with TNA. So, like, the Misawa Samoa Joe match is just like a series of still shots on that DVD, which is kind of annoying. But otherwise, it was full shows, the Budokan All shows. Some of them were double DVDs. Like, you'd get 2 Budokan shows on one DVD. It was phenomenal, and it was still a pretty good era of the company.
And so you're All Japan watching. What sort of happened then after, when Noah gets formed? Are you sticking around with All Japan at all, or watching anything from All Japan, or did you bail like a lot of people did when, that, especially the roster that they had? I mean, again, when you lose everybody but 2 guys, they were able to kind of bring in some reserves here and there and bring in some other guys slowly but surely. By 2002, you get Keiji Muto or whatever. But that 2000 to 2001 era is rough, man. If you look at some of those cards, it's like, holy shit. It's like they're digging up like fucking, Stan Hansen and having him come out again. Steve Williams is a big deal. I think Sabu has a run there for a little while. Like freaking Johnny Smith was there for it. Got real dark, real dark there. Were you watching any All Japan at that time, or did you kind of just bail at that point?
Well, everyone was really energized by Noah because Noah came out of the gate, really strong, and they had all the stars with the exception of Kawada. So it's like All Japan. It's like I can only speak for me and my friends because again, this was a different.
Right. I can't tell you what the people were saying because you don't know what the fucking consensus was between everybody else.
Yeah, I don't remember like letters to the Observer and I wasn't really super. I was on all the boards, but wasn't really super in like embedded into the boards at that time. You know what I mean? So it's like the feeling around me and my friends was All Japan is going to die because we were like, how can they make it? And we were never like on the hunt for those All Japan shows because they looked like shit. If all of this had gone down now, of course you're going to watch them because they're easily accessible. They might be on a fucking streaming service that you're paying for already, or, full shows just being uploaded, 12 hours after they happen. So yeah, you watch them. But back then when it was harder to get a hold of things, and that was the tail end of the tape trading era too. So it's like tapes were like stock. You didn't want to waste your trading on stuff that you didn't really care about. You didn't want to buy tapes from RF Video or wherever the fuck and waste your money on shit that you didn't know you were going to like. So it's like you would look at these lineups. It's not like now where you just consume everything because why not? You had to be selective back then, So it's like we didn't really pay attention to All Japan once that happened because you really had to be choosier and pick and choose, and you weren't going to devote your attention to a company that lost everyone. And my feeling, at least, was that they weren't even going to exist in a year because they lost everyone, even the young boys and, Kenta Kobayashi at the time, who was just coming up and they lost everyone except Kawada and a couple of old dudes. Who else? It was Kawada, Fuchi, and
it was Kawada, Fuchi. I think I'm almost positive that's it. I think that was
Mossman, right? Mossman, Kia.
Yes, yeah, but as far as like contracted guys, 24 out of 26 gone. The only ones left, are Kawada and Fuchi were the only contracted guys left. But you're right, they brought in some reserves, they brought in some freelance guys. Immediately started working with New Japan at that time. But again, it's not like New Japan was like bursting with great talent at that time either. Like they were kind of running into their own issues as well. And I would have loved like. Maybe not this current era of wrestling because this current era of wrestling discourse is so terrible. But maybe one from like even a few years ago. Or maybe this one. I don't know. Whatever. But like just to see what would have happened if a company like this, because I know that like there's all this. We've seen AEW. We've seen a new company in the last year sort of rise and come out of nowhere and build itself from there. But like something like this is just unheard of. Something like this is just fracturing has happened in Japan with companies forever and ever. A guy gets pissed, he leaves. This guy gets pissed, he leaves. Tenryu decides, this guy with this, sunglasses or this glasses company money, he's got a lot of money. I'm gonna go make a company with him or whatever. Like you get little stuff like that. You get like one or two guys leave, a few guys leave. There's a little bit of an exodus. 24 out of 26 guys, all the staff and the TV network go and move to this other company. Like I would just be frothing at the mouth to watch these Noah shows because it sounds fucking incredible. It sounds so cool, and it's a blank slate. It's a whole new company. And what I think was really cool, too, about the early Noahs is they established right off the bat, hey, Jun Akiyama, he wasn't that big of a deal in All Japan. He was kind of on the cusp. He was an upper mid-card guy. Boom, he's one of our top guys right off the bat. They established him as a top dude.
Move. Yeah, that was such an important move. Yeah, and it just established this as a new company with new directions. And, it was what everyone was excited about because they had everyone. And it was as simple as that, so, we've seen, I guess there was the Burning jumped from Noah to All Japan a few years ago, maybe 2013 or 14. And that was like 5 or 6 guys when Akiyama took his boys and went back to All Japan. I think is that the next biggest exodus since in the last 20 years? That's probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Wrestle One forming. And I guess a bunch of guys from All Japan jumped with Muto to Wrestle One. That's kind of similar because he brought, he got Kai and Sonata and, all of those guys and a lot of the young trainees, Anaba, to come with him to form Wrestle One. So that's kind of similar, but obviously Wrestle One didn't catch on, So, yeah, I mean, you see these kind of exoduses every few years, but never like this. This was just, and like you're saying, the staff and the TV network, it was just...
The TV network owned part of All Japan and still said fuck off.
Yeah.
And said, no, you're not getting your TV anymore. No, you can't sign with anybody else. And the second we contractually can, we're going to have Noah come on our TV. It's nuts. Yeah. It's fucking nuts. But when fucking Misawa and Kobashi are like, hey, we're here, I mean, you're going to follow those guys for sure.
Yeah, and just talking last 20 years, I mean, you briefly mentioned AEW. That's similar in the sense that it was the all elite, the elite guys splintering from the Bullet Club, but that's like half of a faction splintering from the rest of the faction and then forming their own promotion. It's like, it's similar but not the same. It's not half of the New Japan roster splitting to form something. It's half of a unit from New Japan,
right,
splitting to form something. But that, that's the closest thing I think we've seen in American wrestling to that sort of thing happening, where a group of guys leave their previous promotion, but that was a Japanese I guess technically a lot of them left Ring of Honor too, to do that. But yeah, nothing like that. And that was the feeling at the time, that Noah was the promotion to watch at that point. And All Japan just wasn't on anybody's radar. I mean, just look at those lineups. I mean, with nostalgia glasses, they look interesting from these are wacky perspective. But in real time, it's like the quality of the promotion just nosedived into the fucking ground, So those weren't sought after tapes. It wasn't a promotion that had any kind of buzz, at least with the fans that I was around. And, and me personally, that I became a huge Noah guy.
Yeah,
right. That became my favorite promotion maybe ever, the Green Ring and the affinity I have for that in those years. I mean, ECW is like a different thing. That's just, but Noah is just, probably, modern New Japan, I think, is catching up and has probably surpassed realistically, peak All Japan and even peak Noah. But I don't know if I have the same like emotional connection to modern New Japan that I had for Noah. I don't know if I can say that. So I can't say it was, I don't know. I don't want to start comparing these promotions because that's not what we're doing here. But yeah, that if you're trying to get what the sense was. Now, I'm sure you'd get similar if you went back and looked at the old Observers. Was he still doing letters in 2000? I don't know the answer.
He was, yeah. I think he still was. Yeah, I'm actually going through a few of these issues right now to see if there are any hot takes about roasting Noah from the reader pages. But yeah, he was doing them to an extent, not as much as he was. Like that used to be a vital part of the old Observer at that point. But yeah. They're still there for somewhat.
Listen, those Observer letters in the 90s were your pulse to the rest of the insider wrestling fans. I mean, that was your internet. Like in 1994, if you wanted to know what other people thought, you had to read the Observer letter section. I mean, or, the Torch feedback and things like that. Otherwise you didn't know what anyone was thinking except for your circle of friends. And realistically, how many of your friends were, trading tapes and following FMW? Probably only one or two if you were lucky. You probably had a lot of friends who were watching Superstars of Wrestling every Saturday morning, and that was cool. But very few became obsessed with wrestling to the point where you're trading tapes and reading newsletters.
Right.
So you're only getting the perspective of the other guys in your neighborhood, especially if you're a teenager, So it's like, that's why it's kind of tricky for me to answer the Noah question. But, I don't recall anyone like clamoring for those All Japan tapes once everybody left.
Yeah, it's an amazing transition to see. I mean, the final show with all of those guys is July 20th, 2000. is the final show with Misawa and Kobashi's on it and whatnot, and it's a loaded show. Like they put as many guys as they humanly they possibly could. You know, as you said, Kenta's on there. I mean, everybody you can think of is on that show. And then you go to July 21st, the next show after this, and it is. I mean, when you talk about these two shows. So
didn't Tenryu come back?
He came in he came a few years later. It helped a little bit, but that immediate, in the immediate of like, oh fuck, we lost everybody.
Yeah.
Is so here are the top 4 matches on the 720 show. It's Amori and Takayama versus Akiyama and Izumida. Misawa Ogawa versus Taue and Inoue. Giant Kamala and Steve Williams versus Mike Barton and Wolf Hawkfield. And Fuchi and Kawada versus Johnny Smith and Fujiwara. So that is your final with everybody.
Yeah.
And then you have, I could just do the whole card here because there's not a lot of matches.
This is the first All Japan show post-Exodus.
This is the first one post-Exodus. Yeah, it's Fuchi versus Okamura, Scorpio versus Shinobi, Giant Kamala versus Yuto Ijimina. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Mike Barton and Wolf Hawkfield versus George Hines and Mossman.
Yeah, George Hines is one of the Fultons.
Yes.
And Mossman, he wasn't a contracted guy, but he was a regular. So I've always counted him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't contracted, but he was a regular, and he was a hot prospect at the time.
Right.
And you could see that a lot of the foreigners stayed loyal. You know, Giant Kamala too, and people like that. So go ahead.
Yeah, Scorpio, and then your main event. That's it. We're already to the main event here. Jinsei Shinsaki, Kawada versus Johnny Smith and Steve Williams. So
yeah, Steve Williams, another foreigner who stayed loyal. Jinsei Shinzaki, a freelancer. Look, all told, they did the best they could.
They did a pretty goddamn good job when you lose 24 out of your 26 guys. So
yeah, and it hurt that Mossman / Kia never really developed into a megastar. He was always a good worker.
Yeah,
that's
the future Taiyo Kia, in case people don't know who Mossman was at this time. So.
Yeah, Mossman. Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize he's Hawaiian. Like a lot of people think he's Japanese, but technically he was a foreigner too. So, it's you could see like those shows, like no one was clamoring for, George Hines. So. Yeah, Noah just started hot and stayed hot, and then, a couple years later, by 2003 or 2002, 2003, Kenta and Marufuji were taken off as a tag team, and then away you go. I mean, it's just
it was an embarrassment of riches there for a while. Like the dates I gave, like 2003 to /2004 to like 2006, 2007. It's just like they're riding high, man. And 2008 it starts to kind of fall a little bit. 2009, of course, everything starts kind of plummeting. Misawa dies, the TV deal gets worse. I think they actually lose their TV deal that year too, and pretty much, we talked about All Japan from June 2000 till today is still kind of never the same. And I would say Noah, of course, I mean, not a hot take at all, that from 2009 until today, never ever even close to where they were at their peak.
2009 to me is the end. That's it. It was never the same after 2009. They had their moments, of course, but it was never the same promotion to me. Pretty much once Misawa died, I mean, for a couple months there, but 2009 is where you draw the line, I mean, it was already coming. I mean, like...
Oh, those guys were all breaking down, too. I mean, yeah. The cracks were already there. I mean, they had lost their TV deal. The Kenta Marufuji stuff had not really worked to the level they were. Right. Kobashi was fucking, his knees and shoulders were shot. Misawa, I mean, he had cancer that year too. I forgot. Jesus Christ, yeah.
So and it's like Shiozaki. They kept trying, but he was just so snake bitten. All the attention taken away. There would always be a death or something else that would happen right when they were pulling the trigger on Go. So that never, Go and Kenta and Marufuji. Those were the guys that needed to work, and Morishima. And for various reasons, none of them did. And that's a story that those stories have been told a million times. We don't need to rehash all of that. But yeah, 2009 to me is where you draw the line. Everything after 2009 is very different and not the same and kind of sad in a lot of ways. You'd watch Noah some of those years and it's like, man, why am I watching this? I'm just watching this because it's the green ring and I'm attached.
You're getting hyped. It's got the logo, it's got the green ring, but it's effectively not the same company that it was.
And there were moments and stuff, but 9 was the last hurrah for sure.
So that was that. I just wanted to touch on that briefly because we're just past their 20 years, and yeah, there's so much great Noah to watch, and pretty easy to find a lot of it as well. So yeah, definitely if you've never watched
that Destiny show is one I watch once a year. I mean, it's that's a great show, and those are the memories I want to have of Green Ring Noah, not chugging down the home stretch with some of those awful shows in 2013, 2014, 2012, anything after 2009, really, where it's just a shell of its former self.
You're talking about the Destiny 2005?
Yeah, the one with
Dome?
Kenta Kanemoru and with the match one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yeah. I think that entire show is available on YouTube too. If you just type in Destiny 2005, click play, 4.5 hours, boom, you're good to go. I mean, and there's great stuff on that show too. I mean, I think there's 5 matches that are over 20 minutes, and like each one of them rules. You know what I mean? It's just it's Kobashi versus Sasaki. It's Masao versus Kawada. It's Tenryu and Ogawa, just all-time dickheads facing off against each other. It's Rikyo and Hiroshi Tanahashi, but hey, no one's perfect. Minoru Suzuki and Marufuji, Akiyama, Hashi, fucking Kenta Kanemoru. Like, God, it's a great show. Fuck, I should watch that tonight.
The star power.
I should watch that tonight now that I think about it.
Yeah, the star power is just, off the charts, and you've got guys at weird stages of their career, and it's just an interesting show, as much as anything else. So, but that to me is peak Noah right there. That's the first show I think of, even if it may not necessarily be the best. I like a lot of those Budokan shows where, but they were top heavy, because the Budokan shows you'd get the stuff underneath with the old guys and Masao Inoue and people like that, and the old Sano after he was washed up, and Inoue and Saito in between pushes, and other old dudes I'm forgetting about that are long since gone. So the Budokan shows often were very top heavy, but that Dome show is just, to me, that's Noah.
All right, so that is, and one person brought up in our chat room, J-Pop 92 brought up that 92 or 09 was also the Yakuza scandal as well. Noah too, which like fuck that what a bad year. Jesus Christ, what a terrible year. So the Yakuza stuff, you lose your TV deal, your president dies, your top star has cancer. Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than 2009.
I mean, he dies in the ring.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. It's just so symbolic all around. And it's it is.
Fuck.
And another time, people would get mad at me for saying that his death was symbolic, but it's like. It really was. I mean, you can pinpoint that right there as that's it.
Right. The heart and soul of the promotion died on that day too, in that ring. It just never, ever, ever felt like it was the same after that. And
right. Correct.
And you can watch the shows and you see it. You can sense that it's just, they're always kind of reaching for something that they're probably never going to get to ever again. And that's what, what happened when, last year they switched all the branding, they went to the red, they got rid of the green ring, and I kind of talked about it, but it effectively is not the same company anymore. But really, I think we said at the time too, it hadn't been the same company for years. So it's like whatever at this point. The symbolism of the green ring has been dead for quite a while. So
yeah, I mean, still a little sad to me, but yeah, it hasn't been the same. Yeah, I mean, it's just not even. They're effectively just an indie. They're an indie now.
Yeah.
It's realistically they're an indie. I know it's like some people don't want to hear it, but that's what they are. And they're not even a particularly big indie. They're just. They exist, and they have good matches, from time to time, and they have a nice roster now, and Nosawa's done a good job, and it's an indie. That's what it is, and that goes for a lot of the promotions in Japan. I mean, all Japan's an indie. That's what they are. I mean, these companies can't draw more than 2,000 fans. I mean, there is. I like watching them, but you got to be realistic about it.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about when Noah starts. I mean, they come out of the gates with like big time shows, big time draws. They're running Tokyo Domes in a few years. They're running Budokans in a few. I mean, it's like, we're talking. This is big time business, and not whatever the fuck's going on today in Japan, where it's these people fighting over these 400 seat buildings and stuff like that. It's wild, but
they're fighting for scraps.
Yeah,
they're all battling for scraps at this point.
Yeah.
It's sad. I don't know why we're ending the show on this.
Yeah, what a terrible note. Hey, Joe, what's something positive? Ricky Starks. What a debut for Ricky Starks. So.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but the reviews I'm looking at are pretty good. So that's
Twitter's blowing up.
That's a little backpat for you. You can take a victory lap here because as long as the show's existed, you've been talking about Ricky Starks. So
they got to sign this guy coming off this. I mean, he came off like $1 million. I mean, you'll see when you watch it.
I'm excited. Yeah, second we're done with the show, I'm gonna put it on. But I think that's it for us, Joe. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we sign off for the week?
No, I think we're done.
That's it. So anyway, voiceswrestling.com/Patreon. Of course, the New Japan Cup audio. I'm still going to be putting out some in your house episodes, Jovember to remember. Some written content as well. I did a piece about the Nassau Coliseum, and it looks like that it might be done. So a little bit about the wrestling history of the Nassau Coliseum. So if you like that, expect hopefully a little bit, some more of those coming up in the future. But that's at voiceswrestling.com/Patreon. Also, voiceswrestling.com, we have a preview of the New Japan Cup if you want to kind of get up to speed on what's going on. We also have reviews of every single show going on, some other great stuff going on the website as well. So voicesofwrestling.com, plenty of good stuff there. And also the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network. If you're listening to this and you're just listening to the Voice Wrestling Flagship, you're missing out on some other great shows as well. Wrestling Omakase, Music in the Mat, Jumping Bomb Audio, Everything Elite, Shake Them Ropes. I mean, I can go on for days of all the shows we have here on the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network. There are plenty of them, well worth your time, so make sure you subscribe to all of those shows as well. And for Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Craich. We'll talk to you guys next time on the Voice Wrestling Flagship Podcast. Take care.